Welcome to the Leadership Academy for Returning Leaders, May 2017. And we are now streaming live, so I'm going to go ahead and minimize this. And hope you are enjoying your Korean and other Asian fare. It's all healthy, by the way. You'll even notice that the spring rolls I made, they're not brown because I didn't fry them. I baked them, so everything is made the extra healthy way. So, and thank you for Tina for coming like an hour and some change early to help me. Same ground rules as always. Let's do some 90-second updates. And Barbara Ann, if you want to continue, you were giving us an update about your health and saying that you were appreciative of everybody who texted. And I know you're finishing a bite right now, so I'm going to string out my sentence a little bit longer. But
I fell off the chair on my patio. It was a little bistro chair. I was reading a magazine. It was such a glorious Sunday morning. And I nodded off and fell over. So I'm not allowed to sit on those chairs anymore. I have to sit on chairs with arms.
Oh my goodness gracious.
It was such a beautiful day. I didn't pass out. I couldn't get up, so I laid there and just looked at the sky and the trees, and it was just a beautiful experience. My brother helped me up, and then Doc and Stan took me to the emergency care. And they took x-rays and CAT scans and all that stuff, and they said, I'm going to live, and you can do it.
We're all very grateful for
it. Was just, it was just a real scary thing for me because things were happening to me that never happened before. You know, and anyway, but
falls can be really, really serious. So thank God you're okay.
I agree. Thank you. And when it's my age, it can be so dangerous.
I know.
And especially hitting your head. So anyway, I'm glad I'm here.
We're glad you're here too. And have you met with your mentor or mentee?
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about that. Who's your mentor or mentee?
My mentor is me. Yeah, you're one of them.
That's right.
And
She's
then,
got two.
Christina. And that's another thing. It takes me a few seconds to
process
get the information through my head.
Yeah.
Christina and I met last week and had a lovely lunch. She's just a charming person, and we it was good.
Good. Yeah, and in a situation like that, I have you kind of in a co-mentoring relationship because she needs help with writing. Okay, so she needs help with writing, and so it's a co-mentoring thing.
And I've already proofed a newsletter for her.
Wonderful.
And, gave her some tips, and
good.
I sent her my writing right.
Oh, good. Yeah, very nice.
After our first meeting.
Good. And do you have a mentee as well?
I'm not a mentor.
Renee, yes, you are.
But we're kind of like
co-mentors as well.
Mentee mentors to each other.
All right. Good. Thank you. Who else has an update? Lola.
Things are going well for me. Last I talked about that I was this close to getting my license because the biggest hurdle was, of course, that ridiculous test that took over my life for years. But I finished my supervised hours. So last report was I needed to do 5 of the, I guess they're competency, they're rights and regulations tests that I have to do. And some are competency-based, like the HIV ones and the domestic violence ones. But there's 5, and they're online, and they're difficult, and they're ridiculous, and they're time-consuming. And I've got 3 of the 5 done.
Yay! Awesome.
Okay, so I'm inching, and I'm getting there. It's not easy to fit those in, but you have to make the time, as with anything. You have to make it a priority, but I can't be unrealistic and try to put all 5 on there. I'm just going to set myself up to not meet that goal. So I'm doing it in partialized steps to where I feel accomplished that I got one done. Well, now I know I can do the second one, and so I am moving forward.
You're 60%.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So that's, I think, like my biggest update.
Great. Mentor or mentee,
Oh,
we
yes.
know about one.
Yes, and met with my mentor Lisa, and we had a great first session, where we talked. Lisa and I have known each other for over a decade at this point. We have worked with each other for years as co-workers and colleagues. So she has known me outside of leadership for a long time, how focused and unfocused I've been, and now knows where I'm at. And so we're probably going to work on a lot of personal things with me, because professionally in my life, once I realized this test was not bigger than me, it wasn't even real, it's not tangible, it's a fear. Fear is not tangible to me anymore, so.
You've come a long way.
Yeah, so once I realized that, my professional life kind of settled, and it makes sense to me now, so I have to constantly work on where I see my life regressing at times, which is personally, and my own personal boundaries, how easily people push mine back, how much I let them push mine back.
Good way to,
Yes.
good correction.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Lisa's probably going to be helping me with that, which is hard because I don't really, go personally with my stuff. So it's going to be good for me.
Yeah, you've come a long way. I'm really proud of you. You've come so far.
It's pretty crazy.
It is. No, it's fantastic, crazy. Woohoo!
Inspirational, really.
Yeah, it is.
Thanks, y'all. I wouldn't have done it with not one of you. You know what I mean by the incorrect way of saying that. But yes, without my wonderful women here, I know I would have I know I still would have been stuck in the same place. So.
And you're not.
No. Thank you.
Awesome.
Things are going well. Lots of changes still taking place within the city of Tallahassee. We're going through a departmental restructuring again. So we're just adjusting.
Can I ask, are you in the same department or just within the city? Okay.
It's within the city.
Uh-huh.
How is the city in a turmoil with the reorganization?
I can tell you, I taught there this week. When different people from different departments were in my class, and it was a different vibe. It's just
That's
Shake
a
up.
negative
It's shake
vibe,
up.
or it's a different culture altogether?
Yeah.
Wow. That's sad.
it's to be expected during times of change, though. And typically things will then calm back down.
Yeah.
So
They
Yeah.
do say it gets worse before it gets better, so you're on the right way then.
Thank you, Lola.
That's why it's into the top.
And your mentor mentee?
Amber and I met last week.
Good.
Good session. Patricia and I will be meeting very soon. We both kind of been.
I've known of the city.
You two need to meet. It'd be good.
But we talk.
I know.
Haven't officially.
Good.
Personally, I know over last year, actually the past 2 years, there have been like a lot of professional changes in my life, but personally had a lot of downs, a couple ups, mostly downs. But for this year, towards the end of last year and this year, my personal life is in a very, very good place. It's in a better place than it has been in several years. And I want to cry because I'm so happy talking about it. But it's just, I'm in a healthier relationship now than I have been in a long time. We've been together for 17 years, but it's healthier now than it has been in our adult lives. So that's very fulfilling, and it's very encouraging to know that a lot of the work I put into something is being seen and it's making a difference. And I'm seeing it change other people and affect my relationships, and that's really a positive for me, to be able to grow with somebody and change at different times and in different ways, but still be able to come back together. It's really encouraging and empowering for me. So that's doing very well. And we're going different places and doing different things in our relationship and in our careers. We're two totally different people, and I think we understand that now better than before. But Hawaii.
Ooh, nice.
Fun. We're gonna be there for 7 nights in Hawaii on the island of Oahu.
Nice.
Never been to Hawaii
Oh,
before.
I love Hawaii.
But we have not had a vacation since 2011.
Ooh.
We are overdue. And given the timetable with things professionally,
Right.
if we don't do it next year, it's not going to happen for a handful of years.
Hmm.
So we're planning for that. My husband is going to be going to the Philippines. He leaves next week,
Ooh.
and he'll be gone for a month. And he has plenty of family there. He's actually going for his grandfather's 90th. So it's going to be a very large celebration there. But we'll be separated for a month. That's the longest we've been apart since we started dating 17 years ago. And he's never spent a night away from our son Connor. So he's
Wow.
having a very hard time with it. He has a lot of anxiety and stress. I'm kind of looking forward to it because I know he does not get out of the house very much. He does not get to travel and spend time with his family. So I think it'll be very exciting for him. But my travel season at work is picking up starting next week. Pretty much at least 2 weeks out of the month between now and November, I'm not going to be home. So it's just a lot of little trips here and there and around the country, but it's exciting. I was named, which everybody in here saw, I was named vice president of our company the last Friday in April. And we had talked in our last class and everything, we had gone back about the title on that, and I appreciate everyone's input on that. And that it came down to, one of the things that she and I talked about, and in terms of the transition and how she's wanting the transition to go and how she's still wanting to be seen in terms of the transition and telling our clients things like that, that it not being made public that she's actually going to be retiring within the very immediate near future. So it was a little bit of a security for her to hold on to that title, because I felt like, or she felt like, and I could see her standpoint on this. At the end of the day, it's still her name on the building. So for her to feel like, if I hand over as CEO or something like that, she felt that our clients would start to lose a little bit of faith in her more quickly than she's ready to allow them, and I understand that. So I said, I have no problems doing that, but we're looking at things and we're talking about certain concessions and certain things in our contracts.
Do you have a lawyer?
I'm talking to 2 right now.
Good.
One of the ones that we talked about is actually a member client of mine, so she's not going to work out for me.
No, definitely not.
And that's one of my struggles is trying to find someone
External.
that is not affiliated with us or any of our clients in any way, and that's been a struggle.
What about the one I recommended? He's helped me with some business matters.
He's one of the 2 that I'm talking to.
Okay, good.
So, but one of the other ones you mentioned, I was like, I love her too, but no, I said, I can't do that. But there's a lot of moving parts right now, and I know the next 24 months are going to be things that I've never experienced before, and I don't even know what to expect. So I've met with both my mentee and my mentor.
And remind us who they are.
Numerous times. They're both in the Leadership Academy year 1 right now in class. Rochester is my mentor, and he is a brilliant mind.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, my goodness.
He's young. He's amazing.
He is wise. I get chills thinking about it. He is wise beyond his years.
Yeah.
My goodness, he's a brilliant man.
Yeah.
But him and his
Fiance.
I wasn't sure. Okay. I didn't want to jump the gun for him. But they're doing their own business, and so it's really insightful to kind of get someone else's perspective and opinion on things and health, and kind of putting yourself first and just kind of slowing down and having that kind of mentality and work-life balance is something that he's very skilled at. So while I've had a trainer this entire year working on my health and looking at my health and things with me, I've lost 17 pounds this year. I certainly more to go.
It's amazing.
But it's been, I've been doing more runs. You will be excited to know Connor is doing his first 1 mile run with me this Saturday.
Oh, cute.
A little 4.5-year-old. And he runs with me at least twice a week.
That's awesome.
And he was out at the 5K at Tom Brown, and he saw us running, and I was actually coaching a friend of mine that it was her first 5K. So poor girl, bless her heart, she was struggling. But I dragged her. I said, "You're not going to run across the finish finish line, you're at least gonna, or you're not gonna walk, you're at least gonna run across the finish line. My goodness. So we got her there. But you know, my son saw me and he was just like, I want to do that too.
Aw.
So I found the catfish crawl, and they have a fun run for kids, a 1 mile. So he's gonna do that with me.
Nice.
But so cute, my little 4-year-old keeping him go out there with me every day, and he's got his mile down to like a 18-minute mile, and I'm like, that's pretty good for a 4-year-old.
That is really good. That's really good for a
It's
toddler.
really good.
That's what mine is.
So I've been much more active and much more health conscious, and I think it's showing in other aspects of my life. But you know, he's been a phenomenal person. They're really kind of helping me stay grounded, and I kind of had like an aha epiphany moment that I shared with him, and I was just like, I was like, I'm sure you had something to do with that, and other forces did. I was like, I'm really proud of myself for doing that. And Trey, who is my mentee,
He's amazing too.
He's just like this puddle of Play-Doh that's just asking to be molded,
Yeah.
and he's so acceptable to just wisdom and
Yeah.
teachings and learnings, and it's amazing to watch him grow and what he can do.
Yeah, he is very high up in his company, and
Yeah.
he works for a plywood company that's an international plywood company. And he started a mill and ran. You know, he's very, very successful.
He's bringing some amazing things to that company. He's totally transforming it
I
from
know.
the inside out.
Well,
lot
his CEO
yeah.
is. I've worked with his CEO
Mhm.
for years, and so his CEO recognized his talent and wanted to send him here.
That's
So,
wonderful.
and yeah, and I've coached him, and he's, you know, one thing that makes him so great is he is open to.
Yes.
And so he's a gem, and I love it because he'll give you credit too. He'll be like, my mentor told me I need to speak up, so here I go. And he came in with his elevator speech last time,
Good.
and he nailed it on the first take. And I was like, whoa, that was fantastic.
Well, we had lunch the day before, and he was so funny because everything he's ever said, he has it written down,
Yeah, I
he's
know.
printed out, and he's bringing all these binders.
You know.
I was like, this is so great. You
The
just
wisdom
loosen
of
up. I'm like, just feel it and live it.
Yeah,
Say it
yeah.
from the heart. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
He's like, well, I wrote this one, and then he's like, I did one for each different type and each different format of elevator speech. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, so shred it, blend it all together, and make it authentic. I was like, he was like, but it needs to be this style. And I'm like, no, you're not gonna say it. She's gonna be like, no, that's wrong. It's gotta be in this format.
Right.
You know, it's gotta just be true to you, and
Yep.
it's gotta be authentic, and you're gonna be awesome.
And he
you
was.
know? And he was like, oh, are you sure? He probably emailed me 3 times that night. He's like, I
Aw.
tweeted this. What do you think? He goes, does it sound real? And I'm like, is it real? And he was like, if you have to ask, that means it's good. So, but he's amazing, and it's a great partnership, and he's so funny because we had lunch the day before class, and he told me, he was like, you know, I didn't really know what to expect, and you know, I don't really know what to expect from the class, but every day, and he's like, the more that you talk and we talk, I'm like, man, Gabrielle knows what she's doing. He's like, I wouldn't think that a pairing with someone like you would have anything to benefit me. I'm like, I know, just close your eyes and
Aw.
trust the process.
Well,
I
and
learned a long time ago,
some people don't
question
trust
it.
the process, and
Yeah.
it's sad. You know, I lost 2 in this class. And so, and the thing is, that what happens is people will compare themselves to other people. They'll compare their journey to other people's journey, like you did in the very beginning. But then I asked you, please, Amanda, trust the process.
Yes.
Trust the process. You know, you said, Tina did too.
Don't look
Tina
at
did
me.
too.
Look.
Okay, and a lot of it is what it is it's fear. It's fear. You have a choice to give into your fear and bail, or to trust the process. And part of trusting the process is trusting yourself. And I feel very strongly that the 2 people that are out didn't trust themselves, and it's sad to me because they missed a lot of opportunity. To know themselves, to grow themselves, to know other people that really cared about them and wanted to see them succeed.
I never thought about this before either until that exact moment when I just raised my hand. That I had a moment too where I didn't trust what was going on, and that's when I received that very initial phone call from you.
Yeah.
And she said to me, "Hey, I was thinking you might consider this." I didn't approach Gabrielle, and I was like, "What? No." And she was like, "No, really." And I was like, "I don't think that's got anything to do with me." And I did not trust where that whole thing was with me, and that I actually you know, because at first I was like, I think she's calling the wrong person. This is the wrong number. There's not many Lolas around, but there must be a mistake. So I had to trust the same thing that sometimes I might not see it, we might not see it, but somebody else might. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we have to trust that as much.
I know it sounds crazy, but I mean, I believe we all have a gift. And I believe my gift is helping other people find their gift. And so Angel Gabriel is God's great messenger. I feel like I'm just a messenger. And I feel like a lot of what I see in people is before they see it in themselves. And a lot of the barricades and the fears and the stresses that I see sometimes in the water, for those of you who scuba dive with me, right? Are
Snatch
before,
somebody.
I know, are before they see it in themselves. And I know it's not me. I am being used to try to help people find where they're meant to be. And so it makes me sad when people give up on really on themselves before they have a chance to experience the true transformation that everyone in this room has. So.
Well, he and I actually had that conversation. I think our second meeting, when I was asking him to tell me how the class went, how the last class was going. He's like, I'm in there and I'm hearing this person talk about this, and he's telling me about all the updates and stuff. And he stopped, and I said, okay, before you go on, I was like, I want you to go back and tell me that again. I said, but do it in a way that you're not comparing yourself to them.
Yep.
Because I was like, I'm listening to just the words you're saying, and it's so self-inflicting, and you don't
Yeah.
even realize it.
Yeah.
And we started talking about these things, and I was like, it might be these fears, and he's like, I don't know, you and Gabrielle keep saying that. He's like, I don't have these fears. So like, okay, well, you and I, we're going to call them burdens. They're not fears, but you have these burdens you're carrying around, and you can't compare your burden to my burden.
Right.
So we talked about that, and so I'll give them these little challenges. I'm like, okay, well, the next time you go into class, I'm like, don't give them a chance to speak up front first. I was like, you put yourself out there first. And if they're not
And
strong
he's doing
enough,
it.
I was like, then you let them compare you to them. I was like, but hopefully, they'll see your strength and your confidence, and they can do that. But I'm so beyond proud. I cannot say enough good things. He's just so good. He's so great.
And he's just another example of somebody who is extremely successful, but who still has insecurities and fears that are holding him back. And he's going to get through that. He's really come a long way.
Yeah.
So, and some of those. Often what happens is those things don't just hold you back in your professional life, they hold you back in your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's making huge strides in his personal life too.
Yes, he is. It's amazing.
I know.
I'm so excited.
Me too. All right. Tina.
My mentee is David Johnson, and I do too.
Yeah, and his wife is awesome too.
I have not met her, but
She is amazing.
I came and surprised him at last month's class because we had met. We meet. He wants to meet every week, so it's every week to every 2 weeks.
Wow.
But, yeah.
So, and David is a veteran also.
He is, and that's why it's like it is just like I've known him, but he has goals and
It's good for you. The
aspirations.
spiciness is good for you, Amanda. Don't spit it out.
It's supposed to be like that.
His aspirations of owning his own business in the future. So when it came down to the elevator speech, I said, I want you to have two.
Yeah.
And because I want you to think about what you would say if you owned your own business and then what you're doing now. Because he's been doing this for a long time, so he had a good But so I came in and surprised him.
That was fun. And any of you is welcome to do that. That was a really fun surprise. She just showed up to support her mentee.
Right. There was a lady sitting here, and I knew what the topic was because I said it was brutal for me. And she was like, "Well, let's hear yours."
Oh yeah,
and buddy, I was ready.
She was
I
ready.
was ready. And then at the end,
She got a standing ovation.
Look, at the end, I whipped out my card, and if he'd like more information,
Yeah.
I'd like to discuss it. It was. I thought it was funny.
It was perfect.
And Lisa is my mentor, and we're meeting regularly about every 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I apologize. I'd love to do more. My schedule's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey,
2
listen.
weeks is fine.
There's no
It's what-
time pressure.
Yeah, it has to be.
You all determine. Some of you may only be able to meet once a month or less than that. It's okay. So there's
You
no.
always get these nuggets. like
Yeah.
when you meet.
Yeah, no,
and
they're good.
So I love it. And so she reminded me, and I will say this because I said this the very first meeting. I was comparing myself to every single person here. Now, I went through the Leadership Academy class, but I still entered this with a lot of reservation and a lot of lack of self-confidence. So what I am doing is working on several things, and part of that is spirituality and my confidence, and also being open, because I generally have not been able to get through talking personally without tears coming. And it has to do with my past. And that past, that trauma was very chronic, and at a very early age, at 3 years it began. And so emotionally I was stunted, and I am fighting through that. And I can tell you that I'm working in so many areas of my life, and there is a change. I feel it. I feel a confidence. I'm not going to compare myself to anybody else, because I have to know what I do every single day is impacting souls and spirits on such a level that they may be grown men and women, but they have been ignored and abandoned and left to struggle with what our government has allowed to happen to them. And if I have to be the one to mend those pieces together, then I want to be a healthy tool that can do it in a healthy way without internalizing it and absorbing that, and I need to be a pillar of strength, and that's what I'm trying to do today. And I can't compare, if I can't touch, 200 kids at an event, then I gotta know that as of today, I've stopped and helped prevent 10 suicides. I gotta know that that's enough for me. I gotta know if I connect, 25 people this past week to linking them up to get more stable food or funding or housing or whatever the case may be, then I have to accept that I've done my very best, and that's good enough for me. So to go on with that, I've been working with a group, and we submitted a bill to the House of Representatives that passed the Senate. So in conjunction with FSU Law School, we got 2 positions funded, and one of those positions will give me a contract. And so I will be coordinating the Tallahassee Veterans Legal Collaborative, which is basically Free Veterans Legal Clinic. So very, very excited about that. So then I also was called in to Leon County Vet Services by the director who wanted to meet with me. He says, I keep hearing your name, and I keep seeing what you're doing. You post on Facebook. He said, what do you want to do? Well, okay.
We're going to have a song in a minute.
Yeah.
Yay!
I shared one of the gaps identified in services is food for these guys. And I mean, I hear this when you've got a grown man telling you, I don't have food, and I don't have money to buy laundry detergent or toilet paper, and so I have to have a food pantry is what I said. I have to. So I've already met with America's Second Harvest, who's got a grant they want to be able to provide the freezer, and they'll help me with the food, but I need an actual location, and it needs to be available at least 3 to 5 days a week. And so that's what I'm working on too. So if I can get that, and then there's a third thing that I came up with just because another identified gap in services for them is that I just became aware a month ago that one of the 2 lead agencies in Leon County that provides funding for housing is expanding into Georgia, 8 more counties.
Yeah.
So what that means is we again are bringing these people here who have no connections in the community whatsoever. They don't know a soul. They don't know how to get around. And I want to be able to pick them up and whoever wants to come to events and invite them and get them linked up. I don't care if it's church or whatever I can do within reason, baseball games or whatever. I want them to be able to be socialized and hopefully connect and have mentors themselves. So I have a lot going on, but I can tell you, I don't feel like crying anymore unless it's tears that I'm happy with myself and the job that I've done. So I'm through comparing myself. I am who I am, and I am remarkable.
Woo-hoo!
And she did use the words
I know.
that she trusted the process.
I know.
I did, and she had our last meeting. She's like, "Do you realize?" This is Gabrielle, and I'm like, "I totally," and I fought her every step of the way because, again, I'm very open about my struggles and challenges. When you are a child and you've been through the abuse, you do not trust yourself.
Yeah.
You do not feel like you deserve
You don't
it.
trust anyone.
Yeah.
I don't trust.
At least
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I know.
I don't care if you tell me to trust
I know.
somebody. I'm not going to try. I will smile and I will be polite, but I ain't trusting you because if you can't trust the people who were there supposedly to protect you, then how can I trust anybody else? I have to vet you. I have to, and I have. But today, I'm better.
You're way better. You have come so far. I'm so proud of you. You've had so much anger in you before, and
I'm letting that go. And
Yeah.
part of that is a big part of that is my spirituality.
Yes, anger and resentment is a prison.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. And even though, like, my mom is a big Mother's Day doesn't come, even if they're not here, without you thinking about what could have been, what should have been. You know, you think of all these things, and then there's still that underlying, I wish I'd been enough. I wish, you know.
But you
But
are.
I am.
But you are enough.
I am.
You know, just because a parent
Doesn't parent.
doesn't parent, just because a parent isn't a parent. And I work with abused children in the court system all the time with Bodie, and it breaks my heart. It's appalling to me.
But I'm almost 55, and I'm just now getting over. I'm not going to ever be over.
You'll never
but
get
I can
over it,
look
but,
back and say, "Ooh, that's a lot of wasted years."
But
that
you know,
I've hurt and allowed myself.
you
to.
can never go backward. You can only go forward. So
Yeah.
you are moving forward, and I'm very.
So
very
my
proud.
job is to do exactly what you do here. Mine is I look at it the same way with
With
my
the
vets.
veterans.
Someone cares.
Yes.
It may be just me, but you better believe I am not here for a pat on the back or to say I did this. I am just a tool.
Yeah.
My job is to help you see that you're worthy.
Good for you. And congratulations on the funded position. That's huge. That is awesome. Woo.
Can I follow up with you after about internships?
Sure.
Oh, and thank you all for the support that you give one another, not just in this room, but the current class. So Lola, thank you so much.
Thank
Lola,
you.
for donating the,
Look, and I hope I articulated just how important that is. Like whether it's toilet paper, paper towels, laundry detergent. If you don't have the money, and this isn't just for veterans, this is for single households that you got kids, you can't. like, if you're trying to survive off of food stamps, first of all, the food stamps are only gonna last about 3 weeks. They don't run, there's not enough there to survive a full month off of. When you get kids in the mix and toiletries, it doesn't buy any of that stuff, and it's a real struggle.
I
So
know.
thank you.
You're welcome. Absolutely.
All right, Erica. Hi.
Well, I'm gonna save the best for last. I went full time, and the spring was my first. This was the first season where I was full time the whole time, and I want to thank Gabrielle because you know when you get in that place with the ups and downs and put the pressure on yourself, and had some challenges not with my capacity but with our supporters, in particular our board, where they set a goal for us of how many girls served and the fundraising and the support they were going to provide to our staff and our organization, and had a very hard meeting when we were talking about budget revisions, which for our organization at the time, not that we aren't meeting we have the resources we need to operate, but based on the way they want us to scale up, we were looking at a budget of a $25,000 deficit, which means then what? Your board has to fundraise or network or bring in more resources. And you guys know how passionate I am about my work. I put my heart and soul into it. So to be at that meeting,
Yeah.
it makes me angry. It makes me angry and sad. But they just didn't say anything. They just sat around and said nothing. But I came to peace and I let go with the right people aren't at the table.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
so I have great people. I have this huge network. You are included in that. And Gabrielle gave me a nice little happy note. We're going to be featured in Socially Loved. Which was just kind of this movement into this place where I'm someone, you talk about supporting people. I invest, I support all the way. And when you're like, it's kind of like an abusive relationship where you keep investing and you're not getting the return on it. And so I think that was part of it, that they weren't as invested. But then it's like, I was in my mentor meeting, Tracy, who's awesome, is my mentor, who by the way is a guy.
Yeah.
And I said, and he asked me this question, and I may not get this absolutely correct, basically, what's holding you back? And instead of, which the question was directed, what about me was holding me back? My response was, my board. And I caught myself in my response, and I just realized, why am I letting them control kind of this dark place that I'm in?
Yeah.
And so I was able to let go with us. We had a great mentoring session. He's been really, really supportive. And when you flip the switch, you really, good things come. And so if any of you are ever involved in fundraising or nonprofit management, what you do 6 months ago, it may take 6 months or 3 months. And so while fundraising was slow at the beginning of the year, a lot of things are coming in and very, very less. Like last month, we brought in over $18,000 in funds and investment and gifts to our girls and to our program. And so you have to say thank you. And then you say thank you to wonderful people who create opportunities to get the word out of this program and these girls that I love because I consider them my own. And so I told Gabrielle one of the greatest gifts is I get to go hang out with these really cool girls who are like butterflies emerging into the life that they want. And so I went to some of the sites and I got to be a running buddy with Gabrielle at Riley. And just having a girl as you're running around a very, very hot cement.
Ooh, 95 degrees. Ooh.
Parking lot,
95 degrees.
Elementary.
Yeah.
She said, why is Girls on the Run so hard? I don't think I can do this. And I looked at her and I said, what have you talked about the word can't in your lessons? And she said, well, I learned that it stops you. And I said, well, what if we changed it to can? And well, if I can, while she didn't hit her goal, she kept going and she had a smile on her face, and it made me realize like that's why I do it. And while we all have those people sometimes that are not always there to support us or, have evolved. I mean, and many times I think it is our board, some of our members are just evolving out of us. And so I just wanted to share. So my big happy space is we had the biggest 5K yet. It was our 7th.
Awesome.
Surf's up, by the way. I'm going to pass around a little goodie. Just remember, don't take yourself too seriously. There's some bracelets in there, just as a reminder as we enter summer. But this is the start line of our Girls on the Run 5K.
Wow. That's a great picture.
I can't tell you how many people I know personally that were buddies or invested in some other way. So that was really cool to be able to speak
awesome.
to. Yeah.
And it was, but I will tell you, I was sweating it on Friday night when those storms were coming in.
I know.
But we had a beautiful day, and it really shows you that, you have to trust the process. You have to believe in yourself and know that while the road is hard, it can be so much harder for someone else, and that we have so many blessings. And so
I want to add something to that. That picture and you sitting here and you being full-time really is really a true 100% direct testament to your dedication, because I don't think people know that Erica and I met years ago when I was interested in trying to see if I had a place at Girls on the Run Big Bend. And this was way before we even had like a program, It was certainly not like this. And it didn't work out. That was when I was so everywhere. It was not. Yes. But now I can absolutely see, right, that you don't always see the fruition right away. That years later, look now, you are the face and the soul of Girls, right?
Girls on the Run.
Girls on the Run. And where it is now would not be anywhere if it wasn't for you. And so those girls that are butterflies, right, are because of you. So.
And I got to run with a girl named Fontricia, and she was awesome. And the really cool thing was that during the warm up, I looked over, and my girl from last year was there from Cheers. And I was like, hey, I know you.
That's so great.
And she just looked and she was like, oh my gosh. And she gave me the biggest hug, and she was so excited to see Randall. Randall's my running buddy who's blind. And she had the best questions for Randall. And she was just so over the moon happy to see Randall again. Now, Fontricia was a little more shy she didn't know what to ask him. And she did tell him it was the first time she'd ever met a blind person, and so she was interested, but she didn't really have she didn't really know what to ask. But it was fun. We had a good time. So yeah, that was great. And your mentor and mentee, you mentioned Tracy.
Yes, and my mentee is Lori, and we met, and she's doing great. She's very busy, like we all are. So we've only met once, but it was a great meeting.
Good.
I forgot to mention, I did change the name to Sacred Soil for Veterans.
Yes.
And it's changed
Great.
on Facebook because it's what I do. And
No, and I totally understood your position. I felt very much aligned with you that you're not going to turn people away, but the same as if you don't meet qualifications for Girls on the Run, they're going to help you find somewhere, the requirements, and they're not going to just go, as you know, sorry, we can't help you.
She'll just refer them to
Yes,
somebody who can.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it matches you perfectly.
Thanks, so too. Thank you.
All right.
And I've been flinging your name everywhere, by the way. Namely, United Partners Human Services, and it's so awesome when people that you love are so highly respected in the community, and you don't know until you say, hey, have any of you met? Oh, I love her. So,
Yeah.
And I'm a true testimony, too, for you that you two put your heart and soul. You were a great mentor to me, and I still know, I feel still comfortable. If I need something, I can come to you. So, Forge of Fun, I know. So my update, I was at a conference last week that Dr. Gabrielle was speaking at. And guess what? My daughter was bullied this week. By her close knit of friends. So
tough.
how timely
Mm.
your presentation was, because I was just able to not tell her how to get through it, but ask her questions and help her identify, in your knit, this is the bully.
Mm-hmm.
These people came around her, and what was interesting to me was she had already documented that in a group text that she felt she was being bullied.
Oh, wow.
So she identified it that. So timely. That's
Yeah,
what I
very
have to say about
timely.
that one. But good things have been going on. I've been real busy with work today. But this morning we had a really great experience. We are rebranding our agency, and
Oh, you are.
we are. And I don't believe in just doing, upper management making those decisions and then having the executive board member do that. I think, if you want your team to be fully invested, they need to be part of the process. So it was really great. We went over a new mission statement and vision statement, and they all approved of it. And then we went into a mission mapping exercise. So this is our vision, this is our mission, and this is how we accomplish our mission. So for my staff to actually get engaged and interact with one another, it was a wonderful experience, and it ran really smoothly today. I couldn't have been happier, and I'm just really excited to be able to prepare, take that to our board for their approval, and work on our next step will be finding a DBA.
Now, I know some time ago when you talked about rebranding, you were talking about possibly renaming too. Is that part of it?
So we'll keep our incorporated name, but we'll do business as.
Okay.
Yeah, so we want to come up with doing business as, and that basically has been a decision that I've seen with about 5 of my counterparts. There's 11 area agencies on aging in the state, and about half of them have gone through rebranding, and none of them changed their incorporated name. They just changed doing business as. Because we are an area agency on aging, we are specifically named in the Federal Older Americans Act, so we want to keep that identity.
Do you have an idea for your DBA?
Couple, nothing's really jumped out to me, so but I haven't opened that up to staff yet, so we're going to open the suggestion to staff and maybe come up with some really good ideas. And I just love that I've through leadership been able to realize that the leader doesn't have to be the one who makes all the decisions. The leader has to encourage others to be part of the process. So I'm really excited to see how I've been able to grow and implement what we've learned so far. And the last session I was like, I don't know if this was right for me. But I found, looking in the topics that are coming up, even if I'm not looking to start my own business, as a leader of a business, these are so practical.
Yeah.
I'm looking at partnership opportunities. Lola, loving being able to be a mentor to Tina and Lola, and finding partnership opportunities when she gets her clinic going up, and outreach events to bring our staff in to help those who may not qualify for veteran benefits, but may qualify for Medicaid, to help them through the application process.
And if they have that, they can get mental health services, and that was one of the things I wanted to follow up with you about.
And if we have veterans that again aren't part of the veteran system and need home community-based services to remain independent, that's something my organization can help link them to. So we're finding for those partnership opportunities, which has been really exciting. And Lola, I do have an interview with one of your potential interns next Monday.
Excellent.
Yay! But I love these ladies because I know they're saying such wonderful things I've done for them, but it's been really mutual. I did take Tina's suggestion. I realized on my business Facebook page, one of my goals when I started Leadership Academy last year was I want the agency to be well known. 40 years and people still don't know what we do. What aren't we doing? And it's simple things that I'm not taking advantage of. We have a Facebook page. Do I ever talk about me? No, I'm generally sharing other people's activities. So I put on specifically, we had a nice document that was published by the National Association of Area Agencies on Aging. Here's what an area agency is. So I'll continue to refresh that information, then add things like what our specific area agency in aging is doing in the community. So that was just something she's like, okay, I'm going to do this, but you need to do this for me. Okay, and so I did that very day. So I did that very day. So I love that we're getting the mutual.
Co-mentoring. It's excellent.
And then Carolyn Capper is my my mentor. Thank you so much.
She's awesome too.
She's
isn't
awesome. I'm so proud of her.
Yeah.
For all that I've seen her accomplish. We were in leadership with her, but she is a very insightful, spiritual, grounded young lady.
Yeah, she is.
And so she's not here, I think, because this is her busy season. I remember her saying she wasn't sure she was going to be able to make it because it's busy season.
Oh, that's right. It is. It's graduation.
Yeah,
That's
graduation.
right. Now, thank you for reminding me. Yeah.
So,
By the way, Amanda just liked the Sacred Soil Project for Veterans page. So.
and my biggest update.
Oh.
Sorry, wasn't.
Biggest update is I am now on LinkedIn.
There should be confetti.
That was a pretty big applause.
Yeah.
It's about time. Excellent.
I'll be honest, I'm really surprised you made it through the first year with her, not being like on LinkedIn. I don't know how.
Only because it didn't come around again.
Every opportunity it did come up, I told her.
Yes,
You need to be
yes.
on LinkedIn. You need to be on LinkedIn. You need to.
She was probably fighting with me over something.
No, Tina was angry at me for a while that year. She was angry, but then she got over it. So,
The path of least resistance works out well.
So Patricia, you're going to sing us a song, and then you're going to update us. What's your
Sing a
song?
song because my phone rang.
Mhm.
I was trying to send to you a video that I'd like you to share with me.
Okay. Did you send it?
Uh-huh.
Well, why don't you sing a song while I bring it up?
I'm trying to get out of it, but
Go ahead.
excuses.
Go ahead.
It's okay. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Yes, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And from that I can say my light has truly been shining. This year has been amazing. I got a call last Friday in the middle of Butterfly Life Journeys, our event that we do for the Chelsea House Tea. We had 78 ladies to show up from Kearney Center, Hope Center, and some other undisclosed homeless centers here in town. So that was really an awesome event. If you saw some of the pictures from Facebook, lots of great contributions. So we are all good with that. As I said, I got a call from Virginia Glass, who said that many of you may know her. She's
Yeah, she's
Here,
a
okay.
Yes.
one of the top realtors here in town, to say that she had read my story in Tallahassee Woman magazine.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked if I would speak at the Second Harvest fundraising event on June the 8th.
Oh.
Yeah, June
Excellent.
the 8th at the Women's Club, and it's starting at 11:45 to 1. And it's their second annual senior festival.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And she said just all people can come just RSVP, but it's also a fundraiser. So I'm looking forward to doing that. At the end of June 23rd, 24th, and 25th, I think the 26th, I'll be in New York City at Columbia University. So I'm looking forward to that. Talk about incarceration and women in Florida. So I'm excited with all the great things that are coming about. So City of Tallahassee is temporary for right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even though I'm in a permanent job, I have this feeling, this anxiety, and this anxiousness that something greater is coming.
Let the anxiety go. Let the fear, let the stress go, and say the Serenity Prayer. And just know that it's all going to work out the way it's meant to work out, regardless of whose decisions and when and what and everything else. Okay. So.
I got a request to go to the federal prison in Marietta to teach the threshold program there from the month of July through November, and they're going to compensate me. Yeah. So I haven't decided on what the compensation would be. They asked me what was I recommending, and I told them $2,500. So we will see.
Good. And just leave everything on the counter, guys. Don't throw anything. Leave it on the counter and come on back. Patricia has a video she wants to play.
Oh.
So just come on back.
Because of the high incarceration rates within the United States, I wanted you all to see this video. I'll let it explain itself when you see that and how it affects families.
Is everyone back?
I think I've seen this. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they have a new.
He's upset about something. Come on. Listen, Alex, whatever it is that's on your mind, you don't have to tell us. But we're your friends, and you can always talk to us if you want.
It's just all this talk about my dad and where he is. I'm really upset.
Oh, because your daddy's away?
Yeah, but because of where he is too. My dad's in jail.
In jail? Why?
I don't like to talk about it. Most people don't understand.
Actually, I do understand what you're going through. When I was about your age, my dad was incarcerated too.
He was.
Wait, what's incarcerated? And why was your dad in it?
Incarcerated is when someone breaks the law, a grown-up rule, and then they have to go to jail or prison.
Hey, that is
Okay.
I wanted to share that with you because the incarceration rate with the number of children that have parents who are incarcerated is 2.7 million children, and that's the population of Tampa. Just to give you an idea of the children that are suffering. So programs like Girls on the Run, helping the veterans who've been incarcerated for mental illness and all of that, it's a huge problem in the United States. In Florida, representation for those families, for the women, for the men, is very few. And I've also noticed that when I post things on Facebook or Butterfly Life Journeys, when I talk about prison or incarceration rate, very little responses, very little, some not even any likes. But that's not going to stop me from amplifying my voice on what needs to be done and how it needs to be heard about all of us being treated like humans when we return home. Sure, in our past we've made a mistake, we paid for that mistake, and now we're home and we need help to start again. That's where Lola, I know you hear and see sometimes in emotions, and I know you do, the ones that have been incarcerated, and you do too, because you've been in these institutions, the anger and the fear of having to start over again with nothing, and then society treats us as if we're nobody. So please pray for all of my sisters, right, and brothers throughout these United States. I will amplify my voice in Florida. I've had a couple of people to reach out to me about where I stand with that after the governor is elected and all of that, whoever wins, then more of a prominent stand will happen with all of that. So I look forward to working in that and most importantly working with that locally. Still haven't found my place with locally, but God will provide.
The talk you're going to give sounds like that may be a good first start. And there is a budget for that talk. So that's fantastic.
Yes.
And that's coming up soon.
There are people working on improving and trying to change laws. It's also it's also a topic that I care very much about, and I've been for years following it and participate. I was there when they opened up the Gaston County Reentry Prison. I find it's interesting to me because, and probably most in here are not aware that the laws that are in place now, particularly like with drug offenses, are were written for 35, 45 years ago, and today they're not relevant. And the example that sticks out in my mind is if you have a prescription, and I'll just say of Oxy or Lortabs, and you have, and I give you 7 of those, you get stopped and have 7 unprescribed Lortab on your person, you are then identified as a drug trafficker. Not if you've got a personal addiction, you are now a drug trafficker. So laws are being looked at to try to change. So, and I think it's way past time, but again, it's not just about the incarceration. To me, it's about substance abuse, and God knows it's a testimony. I've lived through this, so that's why I find it a topic that definitely needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
So,
Believe me, I am pretty much well educated on all aspects of incarceration, from the mental health that we need here in Tallahassee and the funding that we need. And then when we come home and we go to places like this village, then there is a fee of $400 that's charged to me. I'm already poor. I'm already struggling. I don't have a job. And if I don't, and you know this very well, if I don't pay that $400, and then I'll stop talking because I get very passionate about it. If I don't pay the $400, then depending on who my probation officer is, I can be violated and go back to prison. So a lot of changes, a lot of great things. I'm just looking for change.
Mentor, mentee?
My mentee is Marsha. We're meeting at the end of this month. She's been quite busy. Bernice and I will get together shortly, but I want to tell Bernice thank you. Last week, she and I both parked underneath City Hall, and it was one of my bad days. And she turned around. I was going to my car, and I saw her, and we spoke. And she turned around and started walking toward me, and I toward her. And she just said, "All is well, and I love you."
Aww.
That made my day. That really changed me from going to my car and just crying and letting it out to say, all is well, because this is temporary.
Yes,
This is temporary. This is the hurricane, the storm before the great blessing.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. I always say when, truly, we go through a lot of difficult things in our lives, and a lot of times, right before the greatness happens, the really tough stuff happens. And so just expect that during these times of turmoil and heartbreak and stress, that something great is about to happen.
I want to say this is one of my favorite quotes, and I think that this is good for all of us, and it was just what you said right there. It says, the devil whispers, "You cannot withstand the storm," and the warrior replied, "I am the storm."
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I love that.
Wow.
Nice.
It's one of my favorites. I love that.
Can you post it on the group?
Yeah.
Because I'm sure the others that are participating remotely would like to hear that as well.
Yeah.
I feel like we need a shirt.
I know.
I am the storm. That's our theme for the year.
We should wear them every time.
But I like to be the sunshine too.
That can be on the back.
Huh?
That can be on the back.
Okay, there you go. All righty. Anything else before we move forward? I took a little long. Yes.
Brag out.
Sure.
As a grandmother.
Of course.
My son one of his daughters, Amelia, is in 8th grade at Raw Middle School. And she's an artist, and she received first place in all of Leon County Middle School entries.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I'm just so proud of her. But anyway.
All right, very nice. So, we're a little bit behind schedule. Today's topic is not about being an entrepreneur. It's about using skills that entrepreneurs have, regardless of your position. And certainly if you're a leader, you need these skills because, and I did change your handout a little bit. I mentioned that I'm going through struggles. My brain is not working so well. There's a typo in the word entrepreneur was spelled wrong, so my apologies. The new version is up on the server.
Darn, I copied it.
I know.
I
can't believe
she
it.
must be spelling this right.
It's E before you, not the other way around. But I did correct it and actually added a couple more things to the bullet points, so you'll see that. So today's topic really is not about being an entrepreneur. It's about using these skills to be very successful regardless of what you do. Now, if you lead in an organization, lead a unit, or you lead in any way, then it's certainly going to make you even better. And one of the things we'll talk about is decision making, because I think so many people struggle with decision making, with really good decision making and critical thinking skills as well. So the learning objectives are to discuss skills that highly successful entrepreneurs share, assess decision-making capabilities. Did everyone have a chance to do the assessment in advance?
Yes.
Okay. If you have access online, if you could do that real quick, if you have not already, there's a link, and just quickly, it's the online one. So if you'll go to the portal and go from there and get your number. Describe ways to improve decision making and explain how to market yourself with a bio. I have several examples on there.
Sorry.
That's okay. And what we'll do after this is we'll share our bios and give each other feedback on the portal, okay? Or on the Facebook. It'd be easier on the Facebook, and then discuss critical thinking skills. So I kind of broke them out into different groups of things that entrepreneurs share. Really, really good entrepreneurs. One of the things that they're very good at is systems thinking. They look not just at a certain piece of the organization, but they look at the system as a whole. So some of the things that they're especially good at are having a strategic vision. Often they see where the organization needs to go before others do. And part of the skill in this is helping other people see the vision as well. And please, at any point, start talking about some of these things, okay? So why is vision important when it comes to being a successful leader? Feel free to jump in, because otherwise I'm just going to be talking, and that's not the whole point of this, right? Project management is something that people who are successful entrepreneurs are very good at, and it's also something that I find that's lacking just in the general workforce today, is how to manage projects, because you're constantly in a changing world. You have these things that come before you, and there is a project that you need to manage all the components of it, the people, the resources, everything. And project management is something that I think people who are very, very good know how to do well. Goal setting. I noticed that goal setting is something, I think we're going to have a whole topic on goal setting. And if you've seen my bio, I call myself a goal getter. I love goals. And so we've kind of scratched the surface before with smarter goals, but we're going to dig deep into goal setting in one of the sessions. So I believe the last two sessions, if it sounds good to you, I'm going to collaborate on one with Vincent from last year's Leadership Academy, and I'm going to help him develop curriculum, and it's about living your passion and your purpose. And then the other one will be on goal setting, but it'll all have catchy names for both of those. So if that's all right with you two, with you all, this is my brain. Yes, but goal setting and achieving obviously is part of that too. Setting a goal and not achieving it is not a good thing. So. Okay. The next is decision making. It's a big part of systems thinking. Decisions need to be made all the time, and when people don't make decisions, the tough decisions that need to be made, sometimes organizations can become stagnant. Sometimes they fail sometimes when people don't make decisions that they need to make. Process improvement. People who are great entrepreneurs are always looking at ways to improve processes. They're looking at ways to be more efficient, to be more resourceful, to make improvements in whatever it is, to streamline processes, to make things better overall. Critical thinking, and I have this as one of our kind of subtopics for the day because I've found that leaders and the workforce in general lacks critical thinking skills. So we are just bombarded with information in this world, and so many people just take information for what it is, and they don't look at it and look at the evidence and come to conclusions based on the evidence. They just assume that whatever they're reading or whatever they've seen in the media is true. And a lot of bad things happen in organizations when people assume the truth without actually following the evidence. And then another big part of systems thinking is succession planning. And succession planning needs to be well thought out. And often what happens is it's an afterthought, especially in mid-sized to larger organizations. They should have thought about it 10 years ago, and they're kind of scrambling. And I'm seeing this a lot now. They're scrambling to try to get leaders ramped up, and often they have to go to outside people because they haven't grown their internal people to where they need to be.
Well, I think too, when we talk about succession planning for my agency, we have 22 staff, and we have a succession plan that was adopted during the previous administration.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned to my two managers that we need to have a succession plan because it's not just looking towards when I retire. I mean, there are things that happen every day. Something debilitating could happen to me. Who's going to run the organization and make those decisions and work with the board? So succession planning isn't just necessarily long term. It's in the event that something happens.
And that's a good point. And part of that is that you don't work in a silo. Hopefully you identify talent that's already there in your organization, and you do a lot of hand-holding and prepping them so that if something happened, they could step in your absence. And that might be that they start coming to meetings with you or representing you at functions or meetings, so that it's not going to be a huge void if you need to be away for whatever reason. Any other thoughts on systems thinking? Anyone? Nobody?
I think the importance of the strategic vision.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Especially if you are a leader or you're starting up a business or you're trying to establish the business that you've had. Like me, we're trying to make ourselves better known. If people don't know what your vision is, and they don't share in your vision, then you're not going to be demonstrating a collective message. You're going to have individual, unique pieces of your mission or your organization's what it does put out in the community, not speaking the same language. I think it's very risky when you don't share your vision.
Well, and so that brings me to a point, because I do a lot of strategic planning. What's the difference between a mission and a vision?
Vision is, to me, something that's out there that you visualize. This is what you want people to see you as. It's lofty.
Yeah.
It's not
it's pie in the sky.
Yeah, not
we're going to be
tangible.
the best, Yeah.
But a mission is what you do.
Yes.
And how you do it.
Yeah, and who you serve, and
Right.
Right. But a vision is a much bigger. It's not where you are now. It's this ideal. Yeah. Good.
And I think for our nonprofit, because I definitely live in this world, but also how to navigate that when you don't necessarily have staff, you have volunteer leaders,
Yes.
your players are changing all the time, so you have people who've been there, then you have new people, and how can you stay agile in that, with that orientation of the new people, but know that they won't exactly get it, and how to grow an environment where people can plug in at any point, but not lose sight of, because I could be a taskmaster, but like that's not the role, and how can we all own our parts and pieces to that when you're looking at, I mean, the reality for us is every season we're looking at a lot of new players. Some play a more active role, some are very task specific, and how to stay nimble in that. I think that's something that I think about a lot, of how you can, transfer and build up.
Do you have a mentoring or a buddy kind of program with your board, so that somebody as somebody new comes in, there's somebody kind of holding that person's hand and helping them?
Been talking about doing that more. That's been my role a lot.
Yeah.
And our executive committee has taken on a more hands-on approach, and maybe do a team dynamic, so it's not just falling on one person, but sharing that.
Yeah, because that might be good, where maybe somebody who's in year 2 or year 3 would kind of be a buddy, much like the running buddies are, right?
Yeah.
Where they're kind of helping the new people as they come on. Here are the challenges that I have. What questions do you have? And I'm here for you if you have any questions about the fundraising portion. This is what I've learned from the experience, and here are some things that I think anyone, even who's uncomfortable with fundraising, would benefit from. And I don't know.
It's particularly with nonprofit. It's an ever changing field. No 2 days are, and for me, it's just me connecting the dots. So it's very stressful, and trying to, I have to spend the time to one-on-one have the opportunity to share in detail what it is I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
And often, if I try to have a break from it for a day, I always have my phone with me. So I have decided I need another number, the Google number I've been told I can get.
Yeah.
And this way, when that comes on that number, that line, then I will know it's worked, because
That's what I
it's all the time.
That's
Yeah.
what I do.
Never,
I have a second one.
I have a Google number
and
too.
it affects my friendships if I'm trying to do something like at the beach. Do you not
It does.
ever take the time for yourself? And for me, this is again personal.
Right.
I'm like, you don't understand, and it's a stress that I put on myself, that if somebody needs me and I'm not available, to know that one of these guys commits suicide,
Right.
that's what I live with. And I need to be able to effectively share how big the need is in our community, the support, but also find that fine line where I'm not doing it all myself. So I think, to me, my priority right now is getting a place, and I can, like the guys I'm supervising for the community service hours, from the stand down, which I might add, we had over 320 vets come to that event.
Awesome.
So I could use those, like our community service hours, and on an ongoing basis to help me with. So I've got a plan. I just need the place, and then I think I'll have more of a direction. Because I'm a goal setter too.
I think even if you didn't have a place yet,
Yeah.
you had some volunteers willing to answer phones for you, you could forward your Google number, which is free, to them for, let's say I'm unplugging for the day, and you're going to be responsible for taking calls. If it's absolutely urgent, go ahead and call me. Otherwise, you're going to train them on how to route those numbers to where they need to be. Oh, it's not veteran related, then here are the, you train the person up on how to handle the basics, and if they have any questions and it's urgent, then they can call you, but otherwise you train them how to handle things, so that the person always has an answer.
What's your relationship with 411? Because I also wonder if there's
211.
Sorry.
I know.
211. But I wonder if there's not a way to connect or intersect that, so that, because they're a referral.
I know, I get all
They're
the calls.
actually a
I'm linked
suicide
up with them.
hotline. They're a suicide hotline.
Yeah.
So, and I would be very interested in meeting with you after what you described about the feeling of People don't understand that urge that if you don't answer that phone, there's drastic, dangerous consequences on the other line.
Potentially.
Yeah, and I deal with that too. If I don't answer my other line, my clients could very well also
Yeah.
not be alive.
Yeah, it's a
I
lot of
have to
stress.
balance that, so I'd like to be able to talk with you about how I've been able to go around that, because if I'm not available at 3 in the morning and that's a decision that they make, I wasn't meant to be available at 3 because that's not my role.
Well, see, and I do get calls 2:30, 5
I know.
o'clock in the morning, whatever.
I
And often they really need to just talk.
know.
But I am not willing to just not answer my phone. There are times where I have cut the volume down there.
You know, that is part of what I can talk to you about, is how to
Boundaries.
talk to them about that they should be calling 211 and not you.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
what I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
I think you should talk.
Uh-huh.
And then I also think you should explore the option of having volunteers that you train up
That's
so
a
that
serious
can
training.
take your calls for you.
Yeah.
So that you can unplug, because you can't do it all yourself. You can't.
No,
This is a big
because I feel like I'm in a battle often.
yeah.
And then when you hear and see, and I can be complete. This is a safe place.
It is a safe place.
Right. So I can tell you that I have seen, like, where you're fundraising and you've got all this support, that I'm like angry, like unfounded anger, because I know you're working just as hard as I am at trying to take care of people, and but I don't have the same warm, like my stories are more effective one-on-one.
Tina, you're comparing yourself again.
Yeah,
listen,
I know.
She has a
listen,
board.
listen to me for a minute. You're comparing yourself again. Patricia just said she's having a hard time getting right. She's got her own thing going on, and she's talking about incarcerated individuals. There's no warm fuzzy about being in prison. Okay.
I'm not comparing myself. I'm
I know,
really not.
I
I
know.
just said I have found
Yeah.
today. I can say there's been a shift.
Yeah.
There's a definite shift in the last, I'd say, 3 months.
Yeah.
To where I am open to whatever. It's not about,
Yeah.
I'm not in a race with anybody else. So this was a past statement. But
Okay.
in order for me to, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna sugarcoat. These are feelings that I've had, and I'm held accountable
Good.
because I put it in writing, and I have 4 things that I'm working on.
Good.
So my mentor knows this is not anything that I've not shared with you. Am I correct? I've shared. I'm completely honest, because I am not going to let Satan sit right here, speak in this ear, and have me act away or feel a way that's not good for me.
Good.
Well,
I like it.
so I know I've talked to you about this before, but I'm also happy to meet with you and tell you how I sort of implemented it, because I've lived in the volunteer world for 20 years, and so we should sit down and
Yeah.
Yeah.
do a simple step plan. Because I didn't start out with activating 300 volunteers. I had a core group, and I was about that.
And okay, so here's me
Yeah.
closed up, not trusting, and I said, I am ready from this point on to grow and to be more effective in what I'm doing. So I would love that opportunity.
Awesome.
I just have to share time and things because I was so excited. Our service yesterday in church
Yeah.
was about servant leadership.
Oh, yay!
And,
Perfect.
my thing is thinking about volunteers. I don't think we need volunteers, but we don't give volunteers a job description. We don't do a good job of explaining how valuable they can be to our organization. And we don't try to find what their needs are. We're asking for them to meet our wants and not trying to find out what is my need and what is your need and is it a win-win. But that's what servant leadership is all about, is giving subordinating our wants to the needs of others. So just think about, by not using volunteers, maybe what blessing you're denying others.
That's true.
That's really good.
Yeah.
And Tina,
I
that was one
completely
of the
agree.
lessons of why I came here and the growth that they talk about is that when I met Erica for the first time, I wasn't able to meet the goal that you're saying you want. Because if you cannot give yourself 100 to the small core and you're spread out, you're not effective at meeting that core goal you're trying to. You cannot. You can't give yourself to that many things and be able to be effective and
I agree with that.
available and open and receptive and growing and all those things you're saying. And that was a really hard thing for me to swallow and understand. I could not understand that. I said, of course I can do these things. I am capable of doing all these things. And intellectually, yes, but I'm not available. You're not available. You can't be available at 3 a.m. and still do what you need to do at 8 the next day, every day. Not possible. Eventually, that goal that you have gets pushed farther and farther back.
And I will say, I have learned and progressed so much from the beginning of the first Leadership Academy. If you had seen me, you would have thought, this woman is a hot mess. I was in the middle of a mental breakdown, a true mental breakdown, to where I was on my living room floor screaming out to God. Like I just wanted to end it all. I know that it was the hand of God that has pulled me from all of this to be here today. So I went from trying to save the world to focusing on what I can manage. And that's being good to myself. So I got my 22 vets at Hayden Arms apartment. I've got 3 other apartment complexes. I know that I can't do to myself what I've allowed in the past. And that's to just internalize everything. I was not going to cry today.
It's okay.
I think the self-actualization is good.
But I'm so much better.
You are
Like,
better.
I have I do try to have boundaries. I will cut my phone off. I can't save every single veteran. I'm going to do the best I can to link them up with other services, but I am not, thank you, I'm not a licensed clinical therapist. I'm not. There's other people to do that. What I want to do is, and express, is that there is somebody in this world that understands that you're in pain. Because God knows I've lived enough pain. Somebody cares. I've often said that. I hated myself. I put myself through a whole lot of unnecessary hurt. And I've said this for years. If one person had said it, I know, if one person had said, you're valuable, you are worthy. I never heard that. And I want to be that person that says, you're valuable. You're worth. You are of worth.
Mm-hmm.
And you have something that only you can give to another.
Right. Remember, you said you went off of saving the world. I think you're really concentrating on saving yourself right now. So, in order to be able to do everything that you want to be a servant leader.
Mm-hmm.
I've told her that when we met last week. I'm just having gone through the entire year with her and see where you are now.
It's awesome.
Amazing.
Awesome. Proud of you.
Thank you. I'm proud of myself. And I don't say that.
I know you don't.
I
It's good to
never
hear.
say that. But I am.
Gina, it's no brag, just fact.
I love her.
Get it.
I know.
Get it, girl. Isn't she?
Yeah.
The words of wisdom from our eldest Leadership Academy.
Always.
Yes.
I just got to say, because I'm just going to break it. It's a little bit less structured today. I have looked forward to today and just going from the first meeting where I openly said, I don't belong here. I don't feel like I belong here. And I did feel that way. Well, I got several comments from other people that felt the same way that just didn't voice it. So I was happy to be used that way in saying that, because I do believe that if you voice it, then it doesn't have control over you anymore.
And that's why I have one full setting.
Nice.
Honest moment.
Strong man.
Just Bodie.
Yeah.
So
Where is
I'm really, really glad to be in all of your company
right here.
today.
He's so overwhelmed with the energy in the room that he set himself right in the middle of all of us. He's like, I don't know who to go to, Mama. Seriously, he is dead center. Look, he's right in the middle. He's like, he's breathing hard.
He actually came to me for therapy before we started and actually laid himself down at my feet.
Out of harm's
Good boy.
way.
Brody, you're worn out.
Gabrielle, is there any chance we could take 5 minutes?
Yeah. Yes.
But I
Well,
don't want to miss it.
we can take 5 minutes. Let's take 5 minutes.
I know, I really.
All right, 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
I'm so freaking excited for you for leadership.
Thank you.
I know.
So the funny thing was is that I almost didn't apply.
You okay, honey?
Oh my gosh.
You know, it's one of those things.
But you know what this
Because I was back and forth.
But you know what? I've been told.
I give them out too. Love
You're-
it.
you're in-
I did. The day of it, I'd been thinking about it.
This is your season then for it because people, I've like talked to other people. I'm okay. I didn't get in. I'm okay with it because I believe what people told me to. Several have reapplied and
Oh,
and they're
absolutely.
well-known leaders and you're like,
Absolutely.
you can't get in
It's
first time.
just, yeah.
But they've all told me they felt they were in the class they were meant to be. So
That's right.
this is
Yeah.
your season.
I
And this is just,
totally-
I'm just
Somebody-
really excited
oh,
because
yeah.
all the networking that you've been building on
Yeah.
is gonna really help you
And
understand
Amber's
the
in there with
community.
you.
and where-
Yeah, I was very excited. I
I
did
tried
too.
to. Her new boss, the one who said.
Oh, no. I
Don't
asked her about that.
apply,
Because
don't
she
want to.
told, okay, now.
I'm
He
gone.
said don't apply if you want to.
I don't think he ended up applying, did he?
Okay.
Well, I texted back and forth with her and said congratulations, but I said, okay, sneaky, I thought you weren't applying because of your boss, which I had told her in the parking lot at Lucky Goat. I said, don't let him stop
That's
you.
what we all told her.
Who are you talking?
Amber.
Amber.
Oh.
And
She
I
is
said,
done
you
with
need to
leadership
advocate for
policy.
yourself.
Absolutely. This guy just walks in and just.
And so she finally, before the application was due, she walked into his office, she's like, you will not take this from me.
Ooh, good for her.
And
Good.
so he
Good.
stepped down and.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think he applied.
Well, I can
He's
tell you
not
this.
from around here.
We have talked about it. I didn't feel like it was my time. I feel like I've got things I want in place.
Well,
Yeah, look at what I'm
I
Me
want
too.
my-
I wasn't ready.
Yeah, but I want this food pantry. I can like it.
Yeah. I mean, I look back at my, I got
I can taste
This
it.
is the focus.
It's
And it
sweet.
needs to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Because if I can get this in my mind, like I already have a vision. I can do the legal clinic in that place.
Yeah.
I can do Sacred Soul. I can have it all in
Yeah.
one. And the city, it would be, the county would be providing the space, which
Yeah.
would be $1 a year. And they want this.
Oh my God.
They want this. I want it so bad I can taste it.
I need to get interns
But-
in with y'all.
So here's
And,
my,
they've been a blessing for
Social work
me.
interns.
Yeah, we'll have to look at where the right fit is within our
Because you do
organization.
curriculum, right, about self-esteem
Yeah,
and stuff?
so
That's
part of-
where we can get it.
yeah, and part of it is them coming in and we've never had a social work intern. We have like the social entrepreneurship
Yeah.
and some of the sports medicine.
It's workable though, and it's definitely workable with you.
Because part of will be interesting and one thing that I've always wanted to do and I haven't been able to do, which would be interesting, I don't know if it fits in, is I want to do focus groups.
Yes.
Which-
Perfect for social work.
Yes, perfect.
Which we just don't have time in the operations like it would be nice to do.
I think it would be a volunteer facility for you.
I know, we would.
And because our evaluation right now is given to us from international,
Yeah,
and it anecdotally, we're only the third to fifth graders.
yeah.
When they go through this list, even if our coaches, who most are teachers, try to explain it to them, by the second time they do it, they're done, especially in the spring, because they've been tested out of
Yes.
their mind.
Yes.
But I can talk to the girl, and I can talk to the parent
Yes.
in person, I can talk to the coaches, I can
Yeah.
talk to the principal,
Yes.
and I know that their life changed, but this little piece of paper
Yes.
doesn't
Just
do it.
all the, let's have a celebration session,
Yeah.
get together and talk about
There's,
what we
we,
want.
Well,
we
and
have
there
so
was
many
this
ways.
neat thing that we tried at the 5K. I thought it was neat, but I think it could be done differently, and plus then they'd get to be at the 5K, which is fun. Because we did a story table or message in a bottle
Yes.
where you gave prompts and asked people to just write things. But I want the focus aspect. Like that's a nice, just kind of grab quote.
How are you?
A focus group to look
The seat's
at
open
our
right here.
advocacy
Yes.
and programming.
Yes, and see, one of the reasons it would work is because my interns are bachelor's level, so it's a generalist, it's not clinical, which means there's no counseling.
They need to understand the
So,
basics of community
They need to
organizing.
understand.
Now I don't have to.
Oh,
that's,
you know.
No,
Yeah.
we would do,
Yeah, I can even sign on.
we would, I'm already including her in so strongly about it that I would do the supervision for it, okay? But there is absolutely a place, it's just it needs to be molded, you know what I mean? They can facilitate those groups, they can implement them.
That was my strategy with all of our interns here. I'm not a generalist,
Right.
I give them very specific tasks,
Yes.
they have a product that they can put on their
That's
resume.
absolutely,
It's
generalists are task oriented.
Agreed.
Yes, absolutely, I will follow up, absolutely. Working sessions, you know what I mean?
Well, let's schedule one.
We should do a working session.
Tell me.
You know what I mean, like, I think like, the four of us would be perfect.
Yeah,
You
sure.
and Erica.
I would have to have, and talk to people so she can learn the
Yes,
communication.
yes.
The only thing I see with her, when she leaves messages, that her talking to when she's talking to one another.
Oh, absolutely, I think she's
feels
just,
like a narcissist.
yes, yeah, I think, people, they scare, yes, they question themselves, you are capable. I find that pumping people up is what makes
Well,
them.
and I already heard it, this is a big important
Yeah.
task, because people aren't responding to us by mail, so you can have personal effect that they're gonna wanna talk to you and tell you about their organization.
That's so
And help
true,
us as increase.
that's true, so you feel it went well?
I have an interview next month.
Okay, good, okay, oh, no,
No, I'm saying voicemail is like, oh, no, but when I talk to her, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, she's.
Yes.
And I put her on the phone, can she do it? She
Yes.
got very interested in our phone voicemail.
Yeah, yes, and also they're a little, anxious because they realize the placements are missing and they're going away, and so they're anxious to get through, you know? And she might not be the last one because it's been a very difficult placement session.
And there's things that I can have to do when they don't have to be on site for me.
Absolutely, remember this is clinical.
I want them to be able to visit too, so I can say,
Yes.
here's the profile.
Totally.
If meetings with her,
Yes.
because the executive.
Yeah, no, yeah, task oriented, they can go with this person.
I want to talk about what resources are in here, what do you think you will do when you get your degree, and then let's look in our profile of resources and find those that will be direct schools. I want to do.
Absolutely.
So that's what I have in mind.
Yeah, good, okay, good. Oh, so exciting, exciting stuff. Yeah.
So I had already had the whole day off. I was in my volunteer clothes, you know, I was ready to go. My husband knew about it. He was so excited. I had told all my friends where I was going. And then I get to school for this Mother's Day. My son had an accident at school.
Oh.
And I tell you, when I was really hard at home drawing, he was so brokenhearted. To put him in the car and go home, and he's just like, "Mom, it's all my fault. Mother's Day is ruined."
Oh.
Oh, no.
And I'm just like, "Really? You couldn't do anything to ruin Mother's
So
Day."
I start crying.
Wow.
I didn't get this day because of you.
I'm like, what is that?
Their little hearts are so sensitive.
But see, preschool.
He's just sobbing, and I'm just like,
Bless his heart.
Is it VP?
he starts UPK this fall. So he's
Yeah, he's a tender little hearted guy. Yeah.
Because he leads with his heart. And I'm just like, he's so much smarter than we give him credit for.
Let me tell you, I have a 17-year-old now who's just started dating not even quite a year ago. So let me tell you what it's like when you're going to deal with his first broken heart. Because I'm like, even his girlfriend's family said, just so you know, if things don't work out for you, we're still going to be friends with him. Because he is that kind of kind-hearted nature. Very empathetic. Yeah. It doesn't get easier, I'm sorry.
Yesterday, we were headed through Alpharville yesterday. And then our lunch hour was Mother's Day. And anytime we go through Alpharville, I always tell her, she's like this. Yeah, mom makes me unlearn. And she was very, very, she lived a mile down the road. I brought my life down there and spent all summer with her. Very, very close. She died the week before I met my husband. 17 years ago in high school. And he always, he understands it's very close. But I said, one more week, and you would have met the most amazing woman. So it was at the cemetery, and
No?
Good call.
Yeah.
because
So you get the salt and, I'm telling you, my son works at Chick-fil-A. I probably gained 10 pounds because of those stupid waffle fries.
If I had said that Chick-fil-A, that's what I
Oh my gosh. I'm addicted to the waffle fry.
I've been good all week. Half of last week.
I would get a napkin, fill out that, and just put it on there.
You telling everybody where I'm at, Lola?
Yeah, just got your number. Yeah. Shared it with everybody else. Hopefully not in a protection program.
Well, funny you should say that, because we actually had, I won't say crazy in front of a therapist, but she had some serious issues. And I came to find out why she had the issues. And I'm like, oh, really? I mean, just as that life lesson to remember to not label people. She literally was in the witness protection program. So there was certain information she couldn't give just anybody. So I'm like,
It just reminds me, I have to have a course sign all the conflict of interest before the summer happens.
yeah, I have to do that too. For next meeting.
Our meeting's tomorrow as we take a break for summer.
Do you have a
Yeah, we had it signed,
Do you have or the teachers, that's why schools are great, because they were
Ooh, I got goodies.
what is that?
Toffee crunch.
we're gonna have it Scotty.
Yeah, well,
Scotty's pretty darn awesome, I'm not gonna lie.
Alright, that was a very long 5 minutes.
Yes! We're taking advantage of the teacher
I'm
not
passing
feeling
the
well.
chocolate around now.
this, I'll have to try. Pomegranate.
Okay, minutes, thank you. These are particularly amazing, by the way. We got hazelnut, pomegranate covered, and then these are hazelnut ones that are really good.
Oh, nice.
Remember, ladies, dark chocolate is healthy for your heart.
You want some?
I'll pass on your way. I found this, that's very interesting.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that shortly. Or we could jump to that now. Do you want to jump to it now?
Let's do it, let's do it.
Yeah, I don't
We'll
know.
jump to it now.
Because I didn't read that part.
All right, let me jump to that now. Nope, sorry. I'll just stay back here and do it from there. All right, who do we lose?
But we gained Renee.
We gained Renee. We lost one and gained one.
Can we have the hazelnut?
Got some more water, baby guy.
Do you want me to say my tea bag?
Huh?
Do you want me to say my tea bag?
Say what?
Say my tea bag.
No, that's okay.
Just so his head hit my knee.
Aw.
Oh, damn it. I didn't do it online, that's why I didn't get a score. Okay.
So,
I can go back and do that online. I have my answers.
what I'm trying to do with the live stream is anytime you change a source, it's like having a controller. You have to change the source on the live stream from PowerPoint. So, just trying to find the Microsoft Word.
Where'd you get your napkin holders?
Are they cute? Those ones I think are from Africa. Yeah. Okay, well, go back and try closing.
Oh, I like the elephant was mine.
Well, hang on just a minute here.
It's not going anywhere.
So Bernice, what was the last cake creation that you did?
Oh, that was right, Cake Lady.
Actually, this weekend I had a wedding.
Yeah.
I bet it was gorgeous.
Make that turn my belt again.
Did you hear that, speaking of wedding cakes, is that Bluebell's coming out with bride's cake and groom's cake?
Stop
ice cream
it.
flavors.
I may need to, let me try quitting Word and restarting.
Oh, they got me.
No, you were.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, let's see, let's see.
It's gorgeous.
Love it. Is it?
So, Renee, welcome. Why don't you give us some handouts? So, this is me multitasking. Why don't you give us an updates? Tell us how you're doing, Renee.
Nothing's changed. I'm still working at
All right,
UFIT.
everyone, listen up. Listen up for a minute. Renee's talking.
I'm still working at UFIT. I'm the operations manager there. Still looking to get back into school
Mhm.
and still looking to save or make sure I have financial stability.
And what are your plans to get into what you want to do?
Right now I just need to save so I can pay for my classes out of pocket. And I need to figure out what I'm doing with my money because I don't know where it's going.
Have you implemented any of the suggestions I gave you?
I have, and so I've downsized some of the stuff that you talked about.
Did you get a roommate?
No, I have not been able to find a roommate yet. So instead, I've been staying like crashing my boyfriend's place. But with that, I was like, okay, well, this is great. My utilities are off, so I'll just turn them on when I go back to my house. But once again, even with not paying utilities, I'm still not sure where my money's going.
Hi,
Yeah,
Kristen.
yeah.
So my husband and I, we have a lot of moving parts right now. We're going to college, and we were in the same sort of dilemma. It's like every month we weren't saving. So there's an app. I know you're on your phone. It's called Good Budget, and you can create the categories in those major categories that you think you probably overspend on. You have to get us. They're called envelopes.
Yeah, I use those.
And then you just gas, rent, food,
Work.
whatever you want to put as your categories. You make the categories, and then you put what your budget is. So you got to make a budget first to say this is the maximum that I'm going to pay or that I can afford for all those categories. And so you enter in immediately when you either pay a bill or you're out and you buy a Starbucks or whatever it is, and you enter it in. And so then it'll tell you, I'll say, you're behind, you need to stop spending for a certain number of days.
I'm getting that for my son.
And that's all great, but part of it is, like, getting a roommate would save you how much per month?
Well, probably half of that, but like it's just like finding a roommate just because I'm like, well, I'm not there as much. Then I thought about my snake because I like letting her roam around the house, but I was like, well, at least just
Your what?
Snake.
Okay, she did say snake. Okay.
But
But
now
she's like,
that's
I have a home habitat for her. She can go in the habitat and be fine because the person would literally be able to have a place to themselves for the most part unless they come by.
you haven't really tried.
I would just look on Craigslist and then look there. I went to a Facebook
You
rental.
haven't put an ad out yourself.
I've not personally put my own ad out. I've actually just looked at what people have.
What I'm
Does that
saying
make
is
a
you haven't really tried. You
You
haven't
haven't
really
looking?
tried. Absolutely. Absolutely. You need to put your own. You have not made.
So I need to like take pictures.
You need to
and all
put,
that kind of stuff?
you need to put yourself out there. And I would not do Craigslist. I would do Facebook over Craigslist because then you can see real people and get like actual.
Yeah. You can literally look at
Because that would be an easy how many extra $100 a month in your pocket?
Yeah, like $300 or $400.
Right. Probably $400 a month.
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. And so you gotta start stepping up for yourself because you're just wasting time and money by not doing
Yeah, and
this.
I'm seeing that, and I was like, well, I'm looking online, like I'm looking for them,
And part of this is it's a struggle when you're working too much. Like all these extra hours you're working, if you were making $400 extra a month on rent,
right?
you wouldn't have to work this many hours. And quite frankly, when you're working in a job where it's not your passion, it's a job. It's a job, and it's not like life is as fulfilling. And it just feels like you're just going through the motions of life, you know. And so you've got to get your priorities back in order.
And that's why I came today. I was like, well, this is literally like down the street. I can just walk here.
Yeah.
And I usually don't take breaks. So I was like, all right, you guys, I'm gone for the day. I mean, I'll be back in a couple hours, but I usually don't. I just work like 8 hours, 10 hours, just go.
I know, and you think that was the life you were meant to lead?
No.
Renee, you survived a plane crash. Do you all know
Yeah.
that about her?
Didn't know about it.
She survived the plane crash on the Hudson River. Okay? I believe that everybody in this room was meant for greatness in this world. And I believe that some of us get the message in really clear ways. And some of us, it might take a little longer to get those messages. But I told Renee from the start that I believe she was meant for greatness. And I don't think that you fully see that in yourself yet, because I feel like you're just socking all your time into this job, and you're not living your passion. And some little things like putting yourself out there and starting to save money. And we had a coaching session, and I helped her with some finance
Like,
stuff.
yeah, the meals and all, like,
Right.
getting the hair done. I said, I have that budgeted out.
Yeah.
So, like, I do it X amount of weeks.
Right.
And then, because I'm going frequently enough, it's discounted out. And then I'm not doing my nails. I save on
Right.
those and all that kind of stuff.
Not drinking as much.
Not drinking as
Okay.
much. That was
Okay.
good. So, yeah, like, I'm, like, literally.
So this is an easy fix right here. You get
Okay.
yourself a roommate for $400 a month. You're not there anyway. $400 a month. That saves you thousands of dollars a year, And then you cut back your hours, and in the extra hours that you have, at least part of that time, you're searching for your passion. You're spending it on self-growth instead of just killing yourself with, work, which is
Okay,
really
so I'm going to interject here.
Yeah.
So we want updates. It should not take more than a week. I'm going to give you a week, but really you could do it in a day. Snap some pictures.
Yeah.
And we want Facebook updates.
Actually,
I just put it on my Facebook.
It's
or-
Monday. No, there's
Oh,
a
no,
Facebook
group.
ad place. There's a
Yeah.
Facebook ad. So you're going to place a free Facebook marketplace ad.
And then we want to
Looking for a
update in the
roommate.
leadership.
And then you're going to
Return.
send a link, and you're going to post the link on our Leadership Academy. And it's going to be this week.
Can I ask what side of town it's right next to FSU. So that's why I was like, I'll just look for kids that want apartments.
I got one.
Really?
My intern, she's having a problem finding a place in the people
See?
she's with.
Really?
Honestly, is she's at FSU.
Yeah, it's like literally off Ocala. It's a townhome.
Does she
2
like
bedrooms,
snakes?
1 bath.
What?
Does she like snakes?
Well, she has a dog. That's
Yes,
all
I
that
put,
does
well, my dog and Sheba got along well, but I don't mind putting her up in her habitat. That's fine, because it would
If
be
you want, I
amazing.
can connect you and you guys can.
Yeah, and it's furnished and everything. Like, I was looking for people that, like, if they want it furnished, they can. If they don't want it furnished, I'll just stick all the stuff in the extra room. But, like, literally.
So does 400 include the utilities, or is that half
That
the
was, I
rent?
guess, the other thing. Like, the last person who did it was paid like $500, not including utilities for them. But, like, he was conservative like me, so he wasn't like, let me keep the AC on when
So
I'm
it
not home.
includes up to a certain point.
Yeah, you can set limits if you
I
guys
don't know what her
above it.
budget is, so,
Yeah.
but I'll
Yeah.
just connect you.
I think
with
I'm pretty
her.
flexible at this point to just have something and then like know that it would be taken care of. There's a yard for the back of the dog. My dog would go out on the little patio. It's nothing like crazy.
So now you know it's pet friendly too. So there you go.
I will
But
tell her
listen,
about
if it doesn't work out, this week is your week to put the ad in, okay?
Right.
Because you have wasted many months.
in my
talking
head,
about
though,
how
but
this-
in my head though, I'm like, I go online. I
Yeah,
go to
and your
bed,
head is not working. You gotta
We
put.
look for Craigslist ads. And
Yeah.
look for, okay.
Okay.
Well, then there you go.
All right. You gotta put your energy out to the universe and make it happen for yourself.
Yeah. But so I'm in a good place with my position now.
Mhm.
It should be better, or it can always be better, improving and growing. But I have not been like, I probably shouldn't apply for the place now, because this is like, I don't want to.
Are you living your passion? Do you love what you do? Do you look forward every day to? Is this where you see yourself in 5 years?
No,
Okay.
but while I'm there, I want to make the best of it and continue to grow and develop the rest of the staff that's there.
Then don't limit yourself from opportunities. Okay. Don't. You do make the most of what you have now, but at the same time, you keep looking elsewhere because you don't know that job that really is your passion comes along 3 months from now, and you're like, well, I'm in a good place where I am right now, so I'm just going to sit tight because it's comfortable,
Okay.
you know.
And literally,
And then-
it's when you're walking down the stairs and someone's walking up the stairs. You have to be
Yeah.
ready at every moment.
That's right.
That's how I got mine.
That's right.
As many people come in there, might be somebody walks through the door to the gym.
Yeah. For
It's
real.
true.
For real.
job.
It could be.
Everything to do.
Doing event planning, event coordinating, marketing, PR, working like directly either with like corporations or personal artists, athletes, things like that.
Do you have any experience with that?
She has a lot.
Yeah. So I've been doing that for some years, but
That's good.
I referred her to you, remember? When you had the position that you didn't end up filling? I referred her to you. She's good. She's worked with me and Barbara Ann at an
She
event.
looks great in costumes.
She does.
That's very good.
I know. And so, yeah, she's the one I was telling you about.
Because confidentially, this is a safe space.
Yeah.
And I didn't share this in my episode. I don't think as of January 1st of 2019, I will be the sole owner and president of our company.
Mhm.
And before that time, our certified meeting planner will be leaving.
Okay, now, thank you for telling me what CMP is.
I'll be going to the event tomorrow.
I'll be
Trade show
speaking
tomorrow.
there.
I saw.
So will I.
Perfect.
Yay.
Good plus.
Okay, good place to
Okay.
connect. So I want you to
So we will stay in.
dress like a meeting planner. I want you to act like a meeting planner. I want you to have business cards that don't. Do you have some that don't say? No.
Not anymore.
Vistaprint, cheap.
You just get
Get
some.
some
Okay.
cheap. Even just get some
Or
at
print some
Office
up on
Depot
your
or
own,
something.
yeah.
And just print
Print
some.
them up your.
Just print
Oh,
some.
yeah, and then cut them out.
And just put your name and.
Vistaprint, you get 500 of
No,
them?
no, no,
Okay.
something for tomorrow.
I
Something
use
for
it for
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Okay.
never mind.
Just to network with people.
Sorry.
All right, all right.
All right.
We solved that. Next.
Because she's very good at what she does, and the thing is, that's her passion. That's what she loves, and that's why she's so good at it. And here she is working a job.
Yeah.
Okay,
So there's more than one reason you can help us.
I know.
Yeah, no,
There's
literally
always-
though, like I don't usually take time for myself, and I was like, this is like I work here, I can just walk down, let me take, like, hey guys, I'm leaving, and they're like, whoa, are you leaving? I'm like, I know, right? They usually I don't leave. I'm just.
They're not shocked anymore when I leave because I demand it.
Yay.
Oh, really? I said, the first couple of times they were like, you're leaving the office? Now it's like, oh, you have Leadership Academy. You know what
That's
I'm saying?
awesome.
I demand time for myself
Good.
now.
We
My
set
question's
other
very-
people's expectations,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
if we let people think that we're available 24/7 by phone,
They
and
will call.
they will call.
Okay, wait, are you not supposed to be? So now I'm in like
No.
a leadership
No,
position.
no.
Wait, no. Okay.
Leadership delegates.
But so it was delegated because now I'm the GM runs the GM. It's his gym. I run the gym for him. So now he was never available. Like they would have to call multiple times and would still end up calling me. I'm like, hey, you guys, call me whenever. If you need something, let me know. So like I have an overnight person that'll call me at 1:26 in the morning or 3:30.
What are your business hours? Are they
24 hours. So that's why I'm like, if you need me, call me because he's not going to answer the phone. They know he won't answer. Like he'll answer after a couple of rings. Like usually, like I would.
What
at night,
emergency
like,
happens at 3 that they need to
And the
call you?
gym.
so they might not know how to write up something. This person can't, it's something like that. It's
But
nothing
it's
like
not
it's nothing like a
emergency.
fire.
Right,
It's
you
like
need to teach that's exactly what we were talking about before. You need to teach your crew.
Yeah, how to
what's an
handle
emergency,
things.
not an emergency,
Right.
and when to call and not to call.
gotcha. 'Cause I
Yeah,
have
you
them
need
call
to
me
say,
like,
hey, if it's overnight hours, you know, these are the things. If this happens, here's what you should do to handle the situation. If it's an absolute emergency, I know. All right. Did you have a chance to do the online assessment?
Yeah. I
All
got
right.
excited
Let's
about
all talk about the online assessment. What are your numbers?
60. Oh,
it. I don't
Let's
think
start with.
I did the assessment. I didn't do it online. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I can I do it on my? Oops. I'm
You can do it right now.
From my phone?
you will come to you.
Yes, you can do it right now.
63.
63.
60.
60. Ooh, 54.
59.
Ooh, 50.
60.
60. 57.
I
I was the same number too.
63.
63. I was 68 also. And Amber was, I think she said 65 on the Leadership Academy side. So 65. And so Patricia and I were 68. So.
Excellent approach to decision.
So let's go through what it means. And while you're calculating your score. Now don't overinflate things to try to get higher than
already
60.
got my score. I
Just
just have to end. I already did it. I just have to do it.
Just kidding. So 18 to 42. Did we have anyone in that range? 42? No. Okay, good.
No, I'm bringing up the rear here.
What was
54.
That's all right. Your decision most of you were in this range. Your decision making process is okay. You have a good understanding of the basics, but now you need to improve your process and be more proactive. Concentrate on finding lots of options and discovering as many risks and consequences as you can. The better your analysis, the better your decision will be in the long term. Focus specifically on the areas where you lost points and develop a system that will work for you across a wide variety of situations. And the nice thing about this assessment is it links it back to the questions, and you can spend time like working on those things. I really like this assessment. And so you can go back and spend time with those things. What I found from my experience with assessments is that really this has a lot to do with critical thinking skills in the decision-making process. And that's one reason that I put more content about critical thinking skills. So, and then those of us that were in the 67 to 90 range, you have an excellent approach to decision-making. You know how to set up the process and generate lots of potential solutions. Because I think the key is this. There's no one solution to any given problem. There are multiple solutions. And then you figure out what the best possible solution is. You know how to, from there, you analyze the options carefully and you make the best decisions possible based on what you know. As you gain more and more experience, use that information to evaluate your decisions and continue to build on your decision-making success. Think about the areas where you lost points and so on. So, and they base their analysis on their 6 essential steps in the decision-making process. So the first one was establish a positive decision-making environment. The next was generate potential solutions. Then evaluate the solutions. Then decide, and check the decision, and then communicate and implement the decision. Thoughts about this?
Oh, I think this is extremely accurate. Because, and I will elaborate by saying, and again, it all comes back to your foundation and who you think you are. So I've always second-guessed myself because I've never been supported. So I will waver. I can, unless I am 100% sure, then I am like a bulldog, and I ain't coming off of that decision. Like as y'all know from the other class. So.
If it has to do with you, but if it has to do with advocacy,
I'm there.
You
100%.
never second guess yourself on that.
No, I don't because
So it's only what it has to do with you.
Exactly.
Girl.
Ooh,
So just be aware of that.
Lisa
I
got a 71.
Hey, girl.
Okay.
You
Lisa
have to
lied.
surprise me at
Lisa just
all.
lied.
All right. 71.
No, I really thought about her too.
I do
Yeah.
too.
It's
So,
been a process.
and so it is really important to think about how key decision making is to being a great leader. And certainly when it comes to entrepreneurs, they are great at making decisions. Successful, highly successful entrepreneurs have to make split-second decisions by analyzing, constantly when they're making decisions. Big decisions, tough decisions. And it is a process.
An example.
Good, share.
So I had 5K on Saturday. I think I mentioned there were some pretty nasty storms coming through the south. And we had been planning for this 5K. Our coaches got our girls all excited. I've got 143 girls. I've got 158 running buddies of all their families. We've talked to the media. We've got things donated. Everything's covered in. Wait, it's clear. No. Oh, wait, it's scattered. Okay, scattered's fine. It's 30%. It's fine. No, it jumps up to 60%, then 80%. Then I'm going to the FSU's 5K climate weather plan and going to the National Weather Service and then preparingweather.com. But then on Friday, it was evident that all the indicators were saying it was going to be storming, and everybody's one person I talked to who is a very, very part of our 5K committee, she's done tons of races, she's like, it's just raining. I said, it's not just raining. There is lightning.
Yeah.
And people can get hurt. And so I talked to her, and then we had other race director who's done communication stuff, and so we have to come up with a communications plan, or I'm talking to her on Wednesday night, because we got to talk to people.
The email was great on Friday night. It was great.
And we waited till as far as possible to communicate, and Gulfwind's running world is you never cancel a race.
Right.
You wait till race morning. Yeah. And so I had all this advice going on, and the weather forecast is going like this, and then you're trying to resolve yourself really late at night, and I'm saying, don't look at it anymore. But I talked to one of our board members who sat on the committee who works with the Red Cross, but she's in communications, so I was like, we have to come up with a plan. When do we actually notify people? And so we had a preliminary plan in place, but then I called over to Jacksonville, who is our sister, they're leveraging over 2,000 girls a season, like super, super big. I said, hey, what's your inclement weather plan? And so she basically said, similar to what the advice that I'd already gotten, we never cancel it, that we can't reschedule, right? All these community volunteers, how are you gonna do it? Family schedule, girl schedule, end of school, blah, blah, blah. So she sent me a copy of their messaging. And so between our messaging and their messaging and then doing everything, I was just sitting there and then finally I was like, okay, we're going all in. It's either we're just going to say we're doing it and we're not going to make it, because my personality, I'm a planner. Like, I want to tell you on Friday, we're not having it, we are having it. So it was like pushing my comfort zone to not tell everybody like what we're actually doing. So to tell them, yes, we're going to have to wait till the day of. So I went to bed that night. Well, I communicated with all of our 5K and like our vendor people. I said, you talk to the vendors. We did this e-blast, and then we did a post on Facebook, like so this multi-layered communication. So I went to bed on Friday night, like, praying. Oh, I'm out to dinner, and then it opens up. Is anybody out on Friday when the sky opened up? And like it's like lighting. I'm like, oh my god. And so then, so I go to sleep, and I just say my prayers and say, please, rain, go away, come again another day. And so then I wake up at 2:30 in the morning. Oh my god. Because I gotta go to the bathroom. And I check it, and it says, it's fine. But when like you're nervous before an event, I didn't go back to sleep. So I was up since 2:30 a.m. And then I was just like, but I didn't do things. And then like all these things, I gotta do this because we're really gonna do this now. So I had this entire list. So we woke up on Saturday, and there were still rain clouds around. We were setting up literally the race. There is sunshine, but there are these dark clouds moving around. It was definitely rain. And when I left my house, it said, everything's fine. Yay. And then I'm out with my race route coordinator, and we're dropping off signs and stuff. And she's like, did you see that? And I said, see what? You just jumped back up to 60%. I'm like, are you kidding me? And so I was like, we just have to have faith. And so we got back in the car, we went up and finished setting up everything. People arrived. It was a little slower, so it's like, are people just not going to come now because we don't
And then it was packed.
And then it was like in a day. And there was like a little bit of sprinkle, but then
I didn't feel a drop. There wasn't a drop.
And there's sometimes you won't a drop.
But long story short, you saw the picture.
I got there at 8:15 and there was
fine.
not a drop of rain. It was
But
hot.
I really thought, this is a perfect example of what you're trying to do, because it impacted so many people. It wasn't like a decision that would just impact me, and I was like, faith.
I was, yeah. The opposite of fear is faith, and
I kept telling everybody, send sunshine vibes, send sunshine
I
vibes.
was vibing for it, and I was following your Facebook and your email and everything else, but it ended up being perfect. So that's a great example. That was systems thinking. Involved in systems thinking is decision making. Definitely, decision making is a huge part of being a good leader. So let's talk about the next bucket on that first page of the handout, and that's people production. And I always put self first in this. And I think that a lot of organizations that I've worked with that talk the talk and don't walk it send their people to training, and they try to get their people better, but then they're not doing it themselves, and so they're not good leaders. And so what you have are a lot of people that are mid-level managers and lower that are working to try to become better versions of themselves, but then they'll tell you, they're like, our bosses are the ones that need this. This is really good stuff, but nothing's going to happen past this room, and it's so sad. So true leaders put the oxygen mask on themselves first. They know they need to keep working. And it's not like you're ever going to be exactly where you need to be. You're always working to improve yourself. And so a big part of people production is developing yourself. Others include, and this is something Erica just kind of alluded to earlier, was you can call it getting the right people on the team, having the right people on the bus, right? Because many times you think you have the right people, And it becomes apparent that they don't share your vision, or they don't have the skills that you need them to have, or they don't have the passion for what you need them to have, or maybe they just don't want to be on your bus.
Yeah.
And there's nothing worse than having them there. So, and this is something that I see a lot in from nonprofits to high, very, very big companies to.
Is this Duck and Eagle?
Yes, it is Duck and Eagle. Yes. Have you guys heard me talk about the ducks and the eagles? Yes. So there's some people in this world that were just meant to be ducks, and you want the eagles to be on your team.
Yeah.
And so, so the ducks, they can go in their pond, and you need the eagles. So get the right people on your team, and if there's ever a doubt, you address it with that person, and if it doesn't get fixed, you need to do something about it. And that is a tough decision that has to be made. But I see it all the time where organizations will actually promote somebody who doesn't belong on the bus.
Can I show you?
Yeah.
So I have a gentleman who's been dealing with health issues. He went from pneumonia to a blood clot to now sciatica. And he's a very integral piece of our agency. I have 3 access people. He's one of them. And his supervisor's been complaining, I don't know what to do, we can't do anything about his performance because then his health come into question. I'm like, A, he hasn't asked for an accommodation, and B, what is he doing for his health?
Right.
You have to have that conversation with them, because if we're the ones that are the only ones that are giving, he's not contributing, and it's got to be everybody contribute to the organization. So I finally sat down and I said, okay, this is our plan. I said, we've been talking about this for over 6 months. And he also has a cyclical behavior. It's like you have to retrain him. So I said, you sit down with him, you go over what your goals are for him for a window of time. And you have him write them down. Because you're meeting with him, but is he writing them down? And because there's things that come up and say, oh, I don't recall that. How do you not recall this? You've been doing it 6 years. So we haven't asked for, the evidence that he's able to perform, because we can sit there and talk, but we don't have evidence that he's understood what his expectations are. But it's just, talk to him about yourself. Are there things, I think a lot of it, I think he could get certain accommodations. It's a pride issue, and I'm not going to force anybody to address that if they're not willing to. But just having him get to the point where he's evaluating himself and how is he able to contribute to the organization. And it's I think I have the right person potentially on our team, but the cyclical behavior is, we've got to address it by doing more than, remember when we talked about this, it's now, look back to your notes when we met on this day.
Yeah, and that's actually touching on some of the others that are on here, including providing feedback and accountability. So, yeah, that's very, very important.
I think he's more than a duck. I really do.
And if your expectations are low for people, they will only live up to those expectations too. So sometimes you have to raise the bar. The next one is recruiting, hiring, and retaining talent. So a lot of people make bad decisions when they hire people right away. I'm working with a company now where they came to me because, and I think you heard me tell a little bit of this story at the conference last week. But they came to me because they were having problems in this unit of this company. And basically they had hired somebody who was exhibiting bullying behaviors. They hired somebody, and they never held her accountable for her behaviors. They let her pass her probationary period, and the whole unit became toxic as a result. And everyone was avoiding her. Like the plague, avoiding her. Nobody's communicating with each other. There's a lot of yelling, if ever there was communication, but pretty much people were just avoiding her. And so they came to me to ask me to do some team building for them, and they kind of told me what was going on, and I'm like, ooh, the last thing you want to do is do team building when there's no trust in an organization. It's going to be a false thing. Nobody's going to enjoy it. Nothing good can come out of that. It's just going to be a slap in the face. What I would recommend is one-on-one coaching instead, and they were open to it. So I started the coaching process, and what I found was that the problem employee she, in her mind, she wasn't adequately trained. What I think happened was she didn't have the skill set, that she didn't belong on the bus to begin with, okay? So she became very insecure when she realized that she didn't have all the skills that she needed in that position. Her way of dealing with that was masking it with a big ego and putting other people down to not make herself look bad, which was a poor behavior.
When you say she also had fear.
Oh, a lot of fear, because she moved from somewhere else to come here for this job, and all of a sudden she finds herself in a position where she's basically not capable of performing the job. So she starts lashing out at other people. This is the way she's dealing with it. And they feel like she doesn't belong in their unit. They feel like she's a bully. They feel like she's incompetent. They don't like her. What I found was she's actually a really good person. I did, deep down. She just didn't know how to handle what was happening to her. And so I encouraged her to change her behavior, including the way she was communicating with other people. I then, when I was meeting one-on-one with the other people and they were talking about her behavior, I encouraged them to start humanizing each other again. And because what happens when people get so angry with each other is they just start to dehumanize each other. They don't see each other as people anymore. They're just this, I just can't stand this person. So I started, trying to help them see each other as human beings. And every time they were avoiding each other, I was like, you got to stop that. You need to actually say good morning to the person. If you're avoiding somebody, that's a red flag. Something's wrong with you, not with the other person when you're avoiding them. So I had them start communicating, and everybody started doing it. And guess what? Within weeks, the entire unit changed. And she started to build confidence as a result. She started to be more proactive and find her own answers, because she was questioning herself what was happening. She wasn't getting anything done because she was afraid that she wasn't coming to the right conclusion. So she was going to them and drawing, on their time, taxing their time and everything. Now she's actually performing well, and she still might not have the skills that she needs, but she's performing better. And there hasn't been a single incident since. We're now we're about 8 weeks in now. 8 weeks in, and I've done round 2 and round 3 with some of them with coaching. And all the if this happens, then do this kind of things have not. None of the ifs have happened. If she does this again, then if this person responds this way, then everything is just going like so much better. And it all was because this person let fear and insecurity cause really bad behavior to happen.
Have you read the book Influencer?
I believe I've skimmed it.
And it was interesting because of all my challenges with the word. It was like a book I've had and started, but one of the things that your story reminds me of, in there are like how to, like, the 3 sort of behaviors or 4 behaviors that you need to do to influence a change in behavior. And one of the most important ones was about setting people up for success. If they can't be successful, then they're either going to disengage or they're going to sabotage what you're trying to achieve. It's really fascinating. I'll put the information.
Oh, that's great. Yeah. Yeah, but I think for some of them it was hard for them to understand what their role was in it. Like they thought it's all her fault. And I was trying to help, and some just instantly got it. Like, okay, I see what you're getting at here. It really is foolish for me to walk around her office and not interact with her. But for some, I think it's still like, well, why should I adapt my behavior because she's the problem? And so I think for everybody, you have to understand that everything you do impacts somebody else, influences, impacts, affects somebody else. Whatever you do, there's a ripple effect, and it can be positive or it can be negative. But when things get that toxic in the workplace, then, hopefully you want to reverse that as best you can. Ideally, they would have gotten the right person hired in the first place. They would have checked the skill set. What went wrong with the situation? Well, the supervisor never talked to her about her underperformance in the beginning. She should have never passed the probationary period, quite frankly. There were a lot of things that went wrong that weren't her fault. But the interesting thing is that everybody's happy right now. And what's really interesting is that the supervisor, who really didn't want her on the team, actually kind of likes her now. And I told the supervisor, I'm like, look, I'm just going to tell you right now that just because everything's good doesn't mean that I might be recommending that people need to still leave your team. There might be some changes that are going to happen. And he's like, well, I hope everyone stays. So, anyway.
What are some retention strategies beyond monetary that are known to be rather successful?
That's a good question. So a lot of times what happens is people want more challenging work. They don't want to just be given the same duties over and over again. Some people like that. Some people like mundane. They want to do the same thing. But people that are eagles, they want to constantly have new challenges. And so getting them involved in a project where they feel like they have some ownership in the project. Maybe delegating something that it's like, wow, that's only something that Lisa ever would have done herself. She really trusts me. She really must believe in me to give me this responsibility.
Yeah, but you have to make sure that the person
Is fully capable and equipped to be successful. Absolutely.
And then what happens when you get to empowerment duties, then they succeed, and then they come back for monetary.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that your hands are tied with monetary. So then where do you go?
I can share something. I know I shared this during the Leadership Academy, in that I worked for the state, and there were a group of us who came together, and we were all administrative assistants or the lowest in the management team, senior clerks. We came together and we wanted to create an environment where the support staff felt like they were valued. And we sent out a survey, and we had agreed upon maybe 15 different topics, but we also had other, and then we voted as a team and organized trainings. We went outside of the state, whether it was conference planning, financial planning, because we identified things that were were stressors for our coworkers. And so we went out into the public and asked for people to do safety, self-defense. I mean, it was a whole thing. We trained over 3,500 people with zero money.
Mm-hmm.
And we ended up getting recognized by the governor, and we all got personal letters. We held bake sales. We sold pizza on Fridays. We did whatever we could to come up with the money. Mostly every single person wanted to volunteer. We had Ed Fever, who was the chief at that time, Department of Children and Families. His wife was a financial planner. She came in and did these on a monthly basis for like 6 months, these classes to help, because we knew that they weren't making much money. And here we think enough of you to make your life better. So if we get your finances in order, which is a huge stressor, then they're going to be a better employee. If they feel safer and empowered, then they know, like conference planning, proofwriting, then they could make themselves more marketable. And that's how we sold it. And over 3,500 people were trained at not a cost to at all to the state.
I also had something that we've done and we do with our volunteers a long time, specifically our coaches, because they probably put the most consistent amount of time over weeks. Their recognition, how they like to be recognized. Mm-hmm. Because I mean, you're transparent. You've already said you don't have money, but there are little things of, maybe it's like a kudos to everybody of thank you to so-and-so. Maybe it's like employee of the whatever. Or maybe there's something that's unique and goofy and fun that you create, that you pass around. Like my husband, I know you did leadership, Tallahassee, that fantastic award and something really simple that it could be goofy, but like it means a lot because it's part of the culture that you create. Because what you may think is, oh, this is really cool. Let me give you a gift card to Starbucks. Well, guess what? I don't drink coffee.
Right.
And I don't really like this
tea at Starbucks. So, but thank you.
Yeah, but thank you anyway.
That's a good point.
Yeah. And I found even in organizations, I worked for state government, I worked for 3 different state agencies, and I worked for federal government. Even in organizations like that, when they say they don't have money, I've been able to write justifications and get people raises by reclassifying their jobs, and you know, people, it happens all the time, and people often overlook that is an option. And I know maybe right now things are stagnant where you are, and that's not an option. But when it does, when it does come open again, you let the person know as soon as things are no longer frozen up, and as long as I have the opportunity, I will do my very best to reward you by, by reclassifying your position or in some other way giving you a raise.
It doesn't hurt to send an email to the lead department head to recognize that
true.
person's contributed. And I've had that done and been copied on it, and it just so unexpected that that's what happened. Like they said, as soon as this becomes available. And you know what that did for me? It made me want to work harder.
Right.
Like somebody does say, but even just that recognition, even though it wasn't happening then, was enough for that time.
And I know one thing that we implemented, I had our fiscal officer do, for those who might be struggling financially and think that the only way to help is to get a higher paying job, I've had our fiscal officer do an annual evaluation of what our benefit package equates to, so that don't feel like you're stuck here, but you have a tool to take with you when you are looking and compare. Tool to compare.
That's good.
And I do believe that that's been a significant help in our retention rate, because for a nonprofit, I think we're pretty generous.
It's interesting because in the same organization, different unit, I'm working with another client there that the HR department sent to me, and they didn't give me any background on this person, and she came to me, and I quickly discovered what was really happening was that she felt overlooked. She had been with the company for a long time, and she had been bypassed for 2 promotions, and somebody else had. She was angry, and used to step up, and she wasn't going to step up anymore. She felt like she was owed something, and the more I dug deeper into what was happening with her, the more I realized that it was her attitude. And again, what I saw was this really kind, smart, capable person who had become not a nice person on the job. Probably not somebody you would want to be around. In fact, she had the person who was hired into the last position she thought she deserved. They had some sort of discussion, and what the person that was hired said to her, I said, she's right, and she said, well, maybe she is, but I should have had that job. And I encouraged her to go to her supervisor and talk to him about why she's been overlooked. But the more I talked to her, the more we came to the conclusion together that it's her attitude. Right? So there may have been some reason she was passed over the first time around. But after the first time, what happened was she changed her attitude. She stopped being a positive person on the job. She became a really negative person. Who wants to promote somebody with that kind of attitude? And so, okay. So I said to her, I said, if you were somebody on the outside looking in, would you be proud of yourself in the way that you're behaving on the job? And she said, no. And I said, well, then stop it. And it was like something clicked in her, and she goes, why have I been acting like that? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what are you going to do about it? And she just like looked stunned, like she'd let this happen for years, that she had become this sourpuss at work that nobody wanted to interact with. They were walking on eggshells around her, trying to avoid her. Completely different person for a different reason. And I'm like, you gotta fix this. You gotta fix this. And then you still need to have that discussion with him, but be prepared that it's going to come out, that it's your attitude. And then you let him know that you see it now yourself and that you're working on it.
Unfortunately, what happens sometimes in our area is on the evaluations, although the supervisor knows these people are performing below standard, they won't mark it there. So then you get the person with the attitude problems. Well, you can't really do anything with it because now you've given them a 4.
I know.
So you're saying they're performing well, they're doing everything they need to do, but yet you're passing them off to the next person.
That's
because
right.
You really don't want to do it.
And that's why when I say providing feedback and accountability, performance evaluations are not treated the way that they should be. Everybody should start out as maybe meets expectations if they meet expectations, not exceeds. Nobody should get an exceeds unless they really went above and beyond. And so when I help people revise their performance evaluations, I have them, if it's anything outside of meets expectations, then they have to write a note, a justification. What did they do to exceed expectations?
Yeah.
What did they do to not meet the expectations? So that then people stop checking the box and then passing them on, because it does become a liability for the employer.
It does. When something happens later, right? They go, you never talked to me
Right.
about this once. I've gotten all 5 out of 5.
I've always gotten great evaluations.
Yeah, that happened to me
I know.
once, literally.
I know.
I said, what are you talking about?
I know.
And I was like, this can't be right. You can't just show up one day and tell me there's a problem.
Yeah.
And for 3 years, I've gotten raises.
Yeah.
Right?
I know.
Right? On performance.
I know.
So, yeah, no.
Does the city
That's what we
have
have
you
to
do a self-eval?
And see, self-evaluations are really important.
They are.
Really?
And where there's goal setting as part of your self-evaluation. And then at the end of the year, you check in. At the end of the year, you check in with how you met your goals that you set for yourself. So, and that's really important for leaders too.
I'm putting this on.
Okay, and we're going to get into that more in the goal setting session. But a big part of that is you need to set goals for yourself and then check back in and see how you do.
I have always done that. I have always met with my asked to meet with my supervisor and say, do you mind if we do this? And then I'd like to check back in 6 months and discuss this.
That's
Discuss
great.
the goals. I've always been proactive. I learned that.
I was going to say that's being proactive. That's great.
Sure is.
So other things on here, coaching and mentoring, you all know a lot about that, but it's a big part of helping people be better versions of themselves. Delegating, I still find that people in positions of leadership struggle with this, but it is key to helping grow talent and prepare them for where they want to be, and also to free up your time. Yeah.
I just want to share, I got a really wonderful compliment from, it's a young lady who works for our funder. And I said, man, I wish I could afford to bring you on staff. That, that if I have vacancy, can I call you? And she said, absolutely. She said, because I know, she said, and I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say. She said, because I know you'd mentor me. I mean, having gone through leadership, I'm like, that's awesome.
Yes, it is.
I thought that was pretty cool.
Amazing. The leadership styles is the direct result of what your outcomes are for performance and effectiveness in your agency. And I like to use an example, a current example. There's a show called, it's like a cooking show. It has all these famous chefs come on and compete. And they showed, yes, it was actually the competition to become the next Iron Chef. So I knew all of the chefs already, and 2 of them, and they were right. And it was interesting between who ended up being a leader and who ended up being like a boss. And it was the exact same task. One of them delegated, and the other one, they delegated, but they bossed them around.
Yeah, you do this.
Yes, there was no collaboration, no feedback. It was, I know, you do this. And it was, eagle eyeing and micromanaging because you really just do it yourself then, because that's really what it was. And they didn't win. Of course they didn't win.
That's
They
great.
didn't work as a team at all.
That's really good.
So I always use that as even in my own mind when my personality starts to come through as I I know how to get something done, so it's easy for me to go do this. And that's not how you necessarily want to say the exact same thing you're trying to get done. And so I use that as an example for me, that I can still be delegating, but how you say it and word it and tone and language and body language sends off a message.
Well, the same thing when employees come to you with complaints. Staff knows they do not come to me with a complaint without a potential resolution.
That's
Yeah.
right. I want to hear you complain.
I can help you resolve, but I need to know where you're coming from.
Yeah.
You know, why does it upset you, and what would your suggested resolution
That's
be?
true.
Let's talk about it.
Exactly.
And then training and growing others is one I haven't mentioned yet. Obviously, that's a big part of it. Seeing people and climate surveys over and over again identify training as one of the most important things. So people do enjoy it. Like Tina's example with training people with no budget. It's pretty impressive.
But I like that, not just looking at what you need them to go through training for your organization, but what are they personally interested in, invested in. That's really taking it a step further.
Yeah. All right. The next one is organizational development. And these are things like marketing, finance, branding, sales, culture, structure, and governance. Things that you need to think about from an organizational standpoint. Thoughts about this bucket in terms of entrepreneurship skills that benefit every leader?
I would love to just talk to Erica more about how she's worked recruiting an effective board versus me, who came into an already recruited board that was already trained in the culture, was already trained in what our agency's responsibilities were. The tenure of our board members can be up to 9 years.
That's a long time.
So I better like my board members, right?
Wow.
But I do have a strong hand and influence in who we recruit on. You know, what are some, because you're ultimately responsible as the director to them, but they need to pull the weight too. What are some strategies that you've learned through experience? Because even though I have a well-established board, doesn't mean that the people on there are necessarily the right people. How do you continue to look for the right fit, and how do you evaluate if you guys are the right pair?
Sure. So first is, you probably know best what the needs of your organization is, and that was a lot of our conversation that Gabrielle and I had when we started out. We're brand new. We needed everything, and so it was a working board, and so it was really hands-on. And while there was a fundraising piece, that board really paid more of like staff-like roles or specific functions, and did a little bit of fundraising. So we have shifted and grown, and now the needs of our organizations, we actually need a fundraising board. We don't have a fundraising board. Even though Gabrielle did some great work last year, we got a capacity building grant from Girls on Men International to train the board. And so it wasn't like, and when they came on board, it was explicit, like this is part of, like we have, this is your responsibility. And they had clear job description, it was all there. And even though we said our goal is to raise X number of dollars, what networks do you have, had those conversations in the interview process. But then by nature of, I was also splitting time between two jobs, and so what happened, I got busy, so I couldn't always do follow-up. So when there were moments when people were disengaging and or being respectful of where people are at, it actually started to become a disservice. So one of the challenges that we had coming into this year was, while people bring stuff to us, whether it's their time, their talent, or their resources, we're not actually showing up at the board meetings. And if you're not, it was so hard for us. We didn't have a retreat at the beginning of the year because we had all these people at the last minute. Oh, I had this come up. Oh, I had this come up. So we shifted it to the fall. So I think what I have found is, and I invested a lot in my board, and I think that's why last year especially, and I think it's you really knowing what the needs of your board are, because it's having this epiphany of, yes, we need awareness builders, but by the sheer fact of how they wanted to scale this organization over the next year, we have to have fundraisers. Like, there's no way that we can just have a bunch of champions who really say and love us. Like, you have to be there, and you got to show up, and you got to connect. And so That's the soul searching that you really have to do. And then I engage my executive committee, and hopefully you have a strong one. And they really helped me assess because so I'm looking at the outside, and they're actually sitting on the board and so giving their input on how we can, as a team, sort of build up who's there. And then there was some great feedback that had it on the little note list, but really looking at the right word, the strength of your board members and their engagement level, and if they're really still the right fit, and then trying to invite them into different places within your organization because they probably still love what you do, but like the board position, like I have one board member, she's an awesome champion. I can call her anytime. I'm talking to funders. She's a great storyteller. Amazing. Will she ask someone for money? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Even though I've talked to her about we can partner that. So that's kind of what I found. And I gave you a unique situation, but I really.
But those are common issues.
So in Erica's case, this person may not belong on the board. She may be still, maybe she should be in some other capacity in the organization, and maybe she's probably not even happy being on the board, knowing that the expectation is that she has to do something that she doesn't want to do.
Well, so I have two questions. One,
You guys are hot because I see
Yeah,
people fanning. Let me make it cooler.
do you have anything in writing about how many absences that they can have?
Bylaws. Yeah.
Okay, so, and then do you provide a notebook with your minutes for the past?
We actually have it all electronic.
Okay.
And that's one of the challenges I'm seeing with our board. I actually had a board member ask me after our last board meeting, how long are the terms? And I'm like, what did I not do in orientation? I didn't blame it on him because I know it's in the bylaws, but what did I not do in bringing him on to help him know that basic question?
Yeah.
So I'm having to go backwards and evaluate how staff have been providing board training. Board has told me what they want training on to be included, but I have a process and I have a plan. So
Have you ever do you have shadow days too, like where they can shadow you to see if they even want to do that, or do you recommend that?
So most of the people that we invite to our board have a pre-existing relationship with us or have connected with us in different ways. There's usually a two-tiered approach before someone comes on board, where they meet with me in initial discussions, then they make a decision if they want to apply. Then our board members have an interview process. I'm not too crazy about this, but they have a happy hour where it's like a mix and mingle, which I have found by nature of kind of the type of organization. Oh, I like you, yeah, come play with us. But it's not the critical thinking of, I like you, but you're not, we have all of people like you, so maybe we need somebody different. So we do have, I feel like we have the structure in place. It is that critical thinking of, is this the right person? And we, as an organization, need those influencers on our board that have the larger networks, that have that comfort level or access to organizations or businesses with money. And
Yeah, I know. I get you.
Yeah.
well, and with my board I have to have a representative from 14 counties. I don't know people in 14 counties. So I have to rely on the subcontract relationships that I have to remind them, hey, we really need a good, qualified board member to represent your community. And if you can't give me a recommendation, I'm going to have to find someone. That's a nice thread that works. But I'm like, but no, they will still go through an interview process. They still have to be approved. But I have that piece down, but we don't really have a plan.
I think from my experience, especially serving on the CHSP process, Community Human Services Partnership, the past 13 years or so, is diversity of the board is really, really key. And diversity not just in obvious terms, but in skill sets and in every way possible. I think what happens when you talk about an environment like what Erica just described, when you're you're meeting and greeting, you tend to want to attract people that are like you. And if you have a bunch of people that are like you, you're not going to get a lot done, quite frankly.
True. And here's my most successful story in getting a strong board member. We have our 2 newest board members that came on board, and they're like gangbusters. Like, they're doing everything right. But you know what? One of them was on our first 5K committee. He's never served in any real leadership capacity other than a volunteer, and we saw the possibility in his continued engagement. He had a run-a-thon team. They raised the most money ever, and I'm like,
wow.
we want some men on our board.
Yeah,
So,
diversity.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the first one too about recognizing talent. If you see talent, you go, wait a second, let me just keep that person in mind for a leadership role.
Well, and I want to tell you about the timeline. So 2014, what year are we in?
Yeah.
It's 2017, so it's the right timing too.
Yeah.
Also, the second one that we just brought on board, I met her when I was still working at Volunteer Florida. I went to her, and I found this to be actually a really great strategy of just getting to know her. We just instantly connected, so I just love her in particular. So we just connected. She wanted to know more about our organization, and I said, hey, we're looking for board members. If you know, I didn't ask her then.
Right.
I said, we're looking for board members. If you have anybody or know anybody, can you just sort of connect them with us? So fast forward, and my whole intention was to get her on my board, but I never ever said it to her. And then I invited her, because she's dynamic, to be our MC at a run-a-thon where we had little girls giving testimonials, and there were all these people having fun. And then all of a sudden, I get this, you know what? I want to be on your board. But that took me a year. Yeah. So I think also it is in that strategizing on board is that it's going to take time, because I have 3 emails of people that are interested in sitting on my board, but looking at their resumes, I might not know something. I'm still going to have a conversation, but I don't think they're the right fit just looking at them on paper. But I'm still going to have that conversation because sometimes people aren't the best at putting themselves out there on paper.
Well, I think too, you hit on a key component of emotional intelligence is the relationships. You have to cultivate relationships. So thank you. That I think I see some things that I can improve upon.
My question is that, do you have any influence, or are you able to change the term limits of your board?
I have significant
Write the
influence.
bylaws, probably.
I do
right?
have significant influence.
Yeah. That might be something that you may even just want to look at other groups and organizations and see what maybe the best practices, and even just put that to them for a discussion. Because I have a client right now that one of them has no term limit.
Oh no,
That's horrible.
Yeah, I would never do that.
Perfect example is Mel.
A second one that has 8-year term limits, and they implemented that 3 years in. So by the time that 8-year rolls around, that was grandfathering. So by the time we get that to that 8-year point, I'm gonna have board members who have served for 11 years.
Yeah.
And then that was all at the same time. So this client, and I've told them recent, in the past, I've told them you might want to look at your non-productive board members and make some executive decisions, or ask them to resign if they're not being effective. Otherwise, by the time we hit 2020, you're gonna have it's a 15.
Right. Well, I have to make sure, I have made sure that we're in compliance with our bylaws, but in doing so, we've acquired members out of time constraints. That's the worst excuse. But again, process, not plan.
Yeah.
Planning for, I know there's going to be vacancies. I know everybody may not be suited for that 9-year term.
Yeah.
I think that's where I need
I
to
think
be
that
focusing.
term limit is probably scaring away a lot of the people who are being ambassadors for you.
Not on mine. I don't think that's it. I think it's honestly, okay, I'm going to be on your board. What am I going to do? I think it's, I honestly think we don't have a good, I don't have a recruitment plan.
Term limits are a good thing. Even the president can't be the president forever.
Thank God.
A
Did I
perfect
say that?
example, right? But a perfect example of someone who's in too long was the old homeless shelter with Mel. You can't have someone in forever.
You
just can't.
quit growing
You just
when
can't.
that happens.
There's
And,
gotta be
and it does help me that our contracts do have certain requirements for board composition.
Oh. Go ahead.
That's what's interesting to me, because your organization is housed here, and you have. So I guess for me, it's like, what is the type of board that you have, right? There's fundraising boards, there's governance
umbrella
boards,
agency.
and so part of me starts to wonder in that investment level, because that. So I'm checking off a box to meet your contract requirements. how invested are they in making sure that their representative
Right.
is the right one? And so I wonder so much if there's not in the interview and invitation process, do you have that? Do you interview people before they come? It is really looking or giving those area agencies out there kind of a checklist of this is the criteria of what we're needing and what we found to be most successful in the recruitment process.
I actually did have a situation where I did receive an application from some, and I looked at them like they're not experienced to understand what we, yes, they support senior services, but their experience didn't indicate to me that they would really be the right fit. And so that was one of the first times I've had to go to the board and say, we've gotten this, and knowing that our funder wants us to have everything in compliance. Well, despite the fact whether it's a time issue with them, it's not the relevance and importance of having a qualified board. But I have to say I got an application, but I don't think this person's the right fit. And taking the chance that they would say, okay, but giving me the opportunity, so this is why I say I do have influence that I didn't realize I had. I was able to tell them, I got the application, but I think we need to decline. And they read it and they're like, we totally agree with you. So
Good.
I do have support of our board, but I think a lot of what I'm hearing is that I'm missing. I have the process, but the process doesn't matter if you don't have the recruitment plan. And
Yeah, you need to get a
implementation.
plan.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
thank you.
All right, and we'll get into marketing shortly, because that's on the next page. Let's move forward with, you're still hot?
No, it's just
I'm
me.
freezing.
Don't worry about me. I've been hot all day.
Okay. The next one is leadership. I did add a couple of more bullet points for anyone who downloaded it earlier. And I'll zip through some of these because a lot of these are your Leadership Academy topics. So communication, emotional intelligence, innovation, creativity, time and priority management, leading by example, collaborating, pragmatism, risk-taking, humility, flexibility, authenticity. Here are two I added: resourcefulness, resilience, honesty, responsiveness to feedback, and asking for help.
Resilience is a big one because I think there's nothing more difficult for an employee to have to carry their mental manager who has a breakdown every time something doesn't work and doesn't have resiliency to build themselves back up for the next day and for the next day and for the next challenge. And when you have to pick your leader up every single time, it can be really hard to work with. It's all got to be working together,
Yeah, and that kind of brings me to another big part of leadership. I think a lot of times, especially in bigger organizations, people get decisions from on high, and they bring that decision down to their people. And the way they bring that decision down plays a big role in the receptiveness to it. So you're not going to believe this. Management told us we got to do it this way. Here we go again. Here comes more changes. And everybody's like, oh, man, nobody wants to do it. But, a different approach, same thing happens. You're like, all right, guys, I know that our team is the best one to handle this. We've been presented with a challenge, and I am confident that we got this. And, it's going to be a little bumpy over the next couple weeks, but we got this, And so I have worked for people who are the naysayers and the ones that are always talking bad about the people on high. It really does create a sense of divisiveness that doesn't exemplify leadership at all. And then I've worked for ones that cushion their people with that kind of language, and it really does help. You have no idea, that there's that much turmoil going on between, but it kind of feels more safe for you, for your people. And they certainly trust you more that you're gonna look after them regardless. You got their backs, Any thoughts about the items that I put for leadership there? Any questions, thoughts? No? Okay. All right. So let's let me go ahead and switch back then. Let's go to the next page. I'm going to go back to the document, okay? and we are going to take a look at some of the analysis that I did on some of the things that we talked about with marketing. Because marketing is part of entrepreneurial skills. Last session we talked about LinkedIn. Several of you have made big improvements with LinkedIn, and so I examined your headlines. And so mine says speaker, coach, trainer, goal getter. Amanda says association executive speaker. Amber, nonprofit change agent, servant, leader, community builder. Bernice, leader, motivator. Carolyn, director with 5+ years of manager experience with a focus on lean processes and systems. Erica, social innovator, speaker, coach. Lola, servant, leader, agent of change. Patricia, motivational speaker, life success coach, trainer, philanthropist. Tina, dynamic advocate for veterans, resource phenomenon, ambitious optimist. And then we have Barbara Ann, Lori, Nicole, and Renee, who have not written any headlines. And Lisa, you were in there. Lisa, you were in there too, right? You don't have a headline either, right?
She just joined.
Yeah, Lisa. That's right. So so those individuals do not have headlines. You're just using your default, which is basically your job title for your current role. So write a headline. Okay, write a headline. You want to write a headline for where you want to be, how you want people to perceive you. So Amanda.
Can I ask this other question? How are you doing the vertical bars?
It's a character on your. It's right under the delete button on your keyboard.
It's a character.
Yeah.
It's shift and then the button under
Oh, I
delete.
see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And actually, these have been found to be on LinkedIn to catch the most attention.
Yeah.
Right.
And so people who have these tend to get the most attention on their profiles. For whatever reason, the eye tends to be drawn to them
Well,
more
you
so
know
than
what?
commas and other things.
I heard a couple Snickers, and I want to know what's funny. Do I need to change something?
No, I think yours is very.
That was a unique way of hearing it.
I
Your attention.
Resource phenomenon.
I-
It's so
I-
unique.
It's
I love
because
it.
it's joyful.
Yeah.
I would remember.
I think it was those were happy.
Yeah, that was a good.
Those were happy laughs
It was
because
good.
it's like good for you.
It was
I really do think it was like you go Tina because that was I don't think it was in judgment at all. I think it was like wow that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It stood out in a good way.
Yeah.
Okay. Which is, and when you get it right, you
Yeah.
go, oh my gosh, you remember
It's
that.
pretty cool. So what you want to have for your headline is what you want people to perceive you as, people who don't know you. So if people don't know you, only see your job title, is that what you want people to perceive you as? Probably not. Your job title doesn't define you, right, Renee? Your job title doesn't define you, right?
With conviction.
I actually had somebody say that today, and when we were doing our mission mapping exercise, that their job title, because we were talking about what do you do? I'm an executive director. That doesn't define me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just
It's
it's just
just
something
like
I do.
It's just like with our elevator
something I-
speeches, right?
And
So,
every executive
so-
director is not the same.
So a dry version of an elevator speech is I'm the executive director, and this is what people would say. I'm an executive director of the area agency on aging. Blah, blah, blah. It's like nah. Talk about impact. What do you do? These are good. Most people have really good headlines.
I'll give you, Renee, another example. This Gabrielle and I, we talked about it. If somebody's homeless, that's a good one, I think. I may say I'm homeless, but that's not who I am. It's an experience that I'm experiencing, but that is not who I am.
Okay.
It's just like when I say that I run with my friend. When I say that I run with my friend who is blind, you'll never hear me say I run with a blind man. Right? Never put the disability before the human being. The human being matters more than what the disability is.
It's really important, I think, with certain work that a lot of us do.
Yeah.
Someone said
It's not a homeless
murderer,
person. Right.
and someone corrected them and said, no, the act they committed was murder.
Right.
That doesn't define who they are.
We had that happen to us quite a bit.
Right.
You're a
Labels.
convicted felon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm
So-
no, I'm
So yours, Renee, might be something like I make great things happen, or
Yeah.
event. It could be.
Inspired change.
So really think about what people powerful. Okay. next is description. In the description on LinkedIn, you want to use keywords prevalent in your industry that people would use to search to find you. Now, if you don't use a description that's kind of long where you're using those keywords, then you want to write one statement that sums up your impact. And Barbara Ann and Bernice were the only two that chose to do it that way. So Barbara Ann said, creative, intuitive, ingenious, inventive, productive, personable, sometimes brilliant, always ethical, many times humorous, forever sincere. Okay?
I like that.
I like that too. And Bernice said, objective in life is to impact others by giving of myself daily to improve the quality of life for others.
It's almost like a mission statement.
That's good.
Yeah, it's nice, right?
Like a personal mission statement.
And
Yeah, I love
Carolyn and Lori's are missing completely. They're gone. They're not there. They don't have a description. You have a description.
Is
Yeah.
Lily's profile on LinkedIn active? Did she ever get that straightened out?
It's there. I can try to go to it and see.
It's at least viewable.
It is viewable. I don't know. Maybe
So
she's
I
maybe
think
she's not
she
able to edit it.
did that.
If she's not able to edit it,
For a while.
okay,
She might need to delete it completely.
and start over.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be it.
I know we talked on that at one point.
Yeah.
I didn't know if she was followed through.
And mine-
Who's her mentor? All right, can you check in with
That
her?
could be one of them.
So LinkedIn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
have her check in and see how her LinkedIn, because maybe that's why. Maybe she hasn't been able to access. In which case, she needs to just delete it and then start over.
Yep.
If she hasn't been able to. Does anyone have themselves on? Is anyone in here on Twitter?
Yeah, mine.
Okay, so with Twitter, you want to set yourself apart as an ambassador for your industry. What's your handle say?
Association CEO, professional speaker, lover of life, cultivator of unique ideas and experiences, all tweets in my own.
Okay,
What's your, oh.
good. That's good.
What's your
So
ad?
I think I'm going to take my cultivator of unique ideas and experiences. That's what I'm doing right now. I think I'm going to move that to my LinkedIn instead of speaker and executive. I think I'm going to move that.
Okay. So you're gonna kill the speaker and
The association executive speaker
Mhm.
online. I think I'm going to replace that with cultivator of unique ideas. and
Okay.
experiences.
I like that. Great.
What is the search engine
Mm.
keywords? Is it
Okay, so
Yeah.
LinkedIn is the most powerful, has the most powerful algorithm. I mentioned that in the last session. LinkedIn, if you're on LinkedIn and people search for you, LinkedIn is going to pop up as the number one thing. LinkedIn is very, very powerful. Their algorithm has always been the strongest. Therefore, you really want your LinkedIn profile to be very, very good. You don't need to touch it a lot. Unlike other social media, you just need it to be really good and let it stand alone. Occasionally touch it, occasionally update it, but you want to make sure that your keywords that are in there are things that are industry specific or related to what you want to do. That way, let's just say you're seeking grant funding or you're seeking an opportunity of some sort. People are going to look for you, and the first thing they're going to see is, wow, this person is solid. They've been recommended by leaders in the field, and that's what I noticed is that many of you have recommendations from people who are deemed leaders in the field, and so that carries a lot of weight. Keep getting endorsements and recommendations from people, and keep building your LinkedIn profiles.
the cover photo? Can it be something from your organization, or does it have to be?
No, you really want it to be a headshot. Oh, the cover photo. No, the cover photo can be your organization. You actually would want it. You would want it. The background photo? Yeah, so only some of you have updated your background photo. So the background photo, yes, I saw yours. Yours is good. It's my picture.
Okay, look,
That was good. Yeah.
It would make sense that it would be
It
your
would
agency,
be.
right?
Well, yeah, it would be something you're working in, something that's meaningful to you. So like for Bernice, maybe it's she's mentoring or something that ties in with what you say your headline is. Or if you're a speaker, it would be you in front of a group speaking. That's what mine is. If it's the area agency on aging, it would be old people, which is what yours is, right? Which is what yours is. And so, whoever it is you serve, that's what you want to be there. So I could definitely see the picture you shared with us earlier would be the
Yes.
perfect
Yeah, I'm
background.
just trying to do it. I can't get it to go.
You're gonna have to size it.
Are you on the app or are you on the actual?
I'm on this.
Okay. So
I don't know if you
Yeah,
can
upload
change
photo.
it on the app. Oh, you're on the thing.
And that's all you do, and then just browse for the file.
Well, I did it, and then it didn't go.
Did it tell you?
If
Mine
it's
told you
not-
it's too small, too big, or resize?
5.9
megabytes.
Go ahead and try it. Try choosing it, and let's see what it says.
My disclaimer.
It's
Oh,
right.
now it's doing it. It's
took
because
me
you're
forever.
standing here.
Sorry?
It took me forever to get mine set right. So my disclaimer here is when you set it online, check it on your phone and like a couple other devices. Because when you do it on your phone, like my headshot photo is in a different place than it is on here.
Yeah.
So I had to move my photo around because I
Oh,
ended
that's
up
good.
text on my
Okay.
photo. So
It's coming.
Yeah.
So once it's up
So-
there, good.
Check it before you just set it.
Yeah.
The next thing you're going to want to do. Who else is on Twitter? What do you have? Do you want on Twitter?
But
What do you have?
I didn't do it as a professional.
Nice. That is awesome, Tina. That looks fantastic. She's got look at her background. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
with veterans. That's
Oh,
so cool.
yes.
That's really great.
Yeah, I love it.
Really, really nice.
My stuff is all like music related, so most of the stuff is from like
But I
events
mean,
that I was
so-
doing, red carpet
So
stuff.
if you still want to do music industry specific, then leave music up there. But if you're looking to do conference kind of things like we've done, then I would put you working at a conference or something
Like
instead.
super capes.
So yeah, like in our superhero capes or
Okay,
something.
so-
You know. Yeah.
a lot of H&R Block stuff still up there because most of the events I posted, I would post for events that we were doing, and that was more so Twitter based.
Okay. So what is your Twitter? What does it say? Your operations manager
And
for
just
you
changed that because it was before I
Uh-huh.
was an industry consultant.
Yeah.
For
Okay. So what I would do, let's see, industry consultant, media and event specialist. So I would probably put that near the top.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you
Market yourself as that before
Yeah.
you fit.
Okay.
Anyone else on Twitter that has a Twitter headline they want to share? Okay. The next one is going to be a company website blurb. Almost any organization you work with, you're going to have some kind of blurb, a bio, a short bio about yourself. Who has something like that? Okay, Erica, what's yours say? All right. On your
agency.
company, on your agency, on your organization's
Like a
website.
welcome
It needs to be
Yeah.
updated. I was just looking at it.
All right, so if it needs to be updated, make sure it is updated. But what's it say?
Erica McKibben serves as the executive director for Girls on the Run of the Big Bend. As a woman and mother of 2 young girls, she believes that it is critical to build strong girls who believe in themselves, value friendship, and understand the importance of giving back to their community. Girls on the Run has developed a program that captures these values in a strategic approach to build strong girls through fitness, self-esteem, leadership, and service. I can't imagine anything better. Erica has over 17 years of experience in community development work that has ranged from volunteer to trainer to director to consultant. Supporting others to find their personal potential to make real change in their lives and communities is her passion. On a personal level, the program inspires her with its focus on girl power and the positive role that fitness running can play in bringing confidence, joy, and strength.
It's really nice. It might be a tad bit long.
I could take out that one.
So I might make it just a little bit more concise, but I like it. There's a lot of passion behind it. Maybe just update it slightly, refresh. And really all websites, the more you refresh your website, the more search engine optimized it will be. Yeah. So anyone else have one they want to share? All right. While you're looking, the next one is going to be a bio where if you are going to speak somewhere, you're going to be invited somewhere, typically they're going to ask you for a bio. What I like to do is have 2 versions of the bio. One is a one-pager, and that would typically be used as an insert or a promotional piece of material. It's a one-pager. And then the other, they're going to ask you for a short bio. Now, if anyone ever asks you for a short bio, ask them how many words would you like. Typically, a short bio is going to be 150 words, but they might say 200 words, and those extra 50 words might be really important to you. So if somebody asks for a short bio, have a shorter version ready, have a 151 ready, and then get ready to tweak it if you need to. Regardless, you want to have whatever you're sending to them customized. So don't have, these are not static documents. If you, for example, Patricia, if you're speaking to a group that is formerly incarcerated versus influencers versus people who maybe have funds to help people who are formerly incarcerated, you're going to structure your bio differently for those 2 groups. If you regardless of what it is you do, you want to structure your bio differently for who whoever you're going to speak to. It does, and a bio is not only if you're speaking. A bio might be if you're invited somewhere to be part of a meeting or part of some kind of event. You would need to provide your bio.
And because I had learned this the hard way, do it.
Yeah.
Have it ready.
Always have your bio ready. Always have your bio ready and write your bio in third person.
How long? You said
Oh.
a page. A page seems like really long, but
It
I'm
is.
not from academia, which that seems to be like the norm.
It
So,
is.
Like, so do you look at more of like the industry standard?
So I like to have two versions. Have one page
Okay.
and then have a shorter version.
Yeah.
So have one page and then have an even shorter version. Okay, so
So actually three.
there's actually three.
Yeah.
But I think I might have mentioned
That
the other
makes sense.
shorter version later.
Just like
So
I
yeah, I
have
know how to.
different elevator speeches, I really do.
Yeah.
Because I run into different kinds of people.
And
The other one
elevators
is not
are
a bio,
different.
it's actually an introduction. So, okay, so, and I have a tool that I'll share with you that's pretty cool for introductions. So you want to, when somebody's introducing you at an event or if you're speaking or something, you want a shorter version where, there's nothing worse than when someone says, send me a bio, and then they read it. It's horrible. I hate that. It's awful. And I'm sitting there like, 2 minutes later going, it's embarrassing and it's just awful. And she
So
earned a
this-
degree and blah, blah, blah. And it's like,
So this is so bio is a description of you, whether it be a short couple,
Yeah,
50
so
words, or your
have two versions,
details.
one full page and one 150 words. And then if you speak anywhere,
Perfect.
write an intro. Write an
Beautiful.
intro. That looks fantastic. So much better, Erica. That looks great.
Yeah, that's engaging. I like it.
people love people.
So have an introduction where somebody's going to introduce you as an expert in or somebody who has accomplished something. And you don't want it to be too big. You don't want it to be too long. You don't want to list like all the things the person has done. You want to relate it to the audience.
It is painful when they keep going.
Oh,
Like,
I hate
I
that.
almost always say, "Can I just introduce
I
myself?"
know. I hate
Right?
that. It is painful.
So who you are versus your experience.
Yeah.
You can always tweak your intro to the group.
You
Yeah,
always
yeah,
should.
Yeah.
You should always tweak your intro to the group. You should always tweak your bio as well. And so, if I'm speaking, like later this week, I'm speaking to the Florida Police Chiefs Association. That should be very different than if I'm speaking tomorrow, I'm speaking at the trade show. They didn't ask me for an intro. They didn't ask me for an intro. They did ask me for a bio, and I said, how long of a bio do you want? And I didn't get a response. So I sent them a one-pager, and I said, let me know if you want a shorter version. They said, no, this is fine. It's for the app. So I said, okay. So I'm assuming I may not have an introduction. And in some cases, people don't. I'm fine with introducing myself. But
And a resume is your job by job experience or whatever.
versus a CV, yeah.
Yeah.
She needs to sing.
Okay, what
I'm
happened?
trying to find something for you.
I
Aww.
just want to hear you sing. I'll help you pick something on that.
Go ahead.
I always do the same one. Oh, I know. Did I sing this for you? Jada.
Do banana.
Oh, you want me
Oh,
to do
yeah.
an NGO one?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
We all have to help.
Can I stand up?
Okay. We can use standing up.
Yes.
Okay.
I have to remember that.
We're all standing up.
Yeah, we're
Okay,
standing
so this is an energy award going out to all of you because you are amazing and talented and dedicated and driven. So it's the banana award. So our girls love this. And so first you gotta do the banana. Ooh, banana. Ooh, banana. Peel, banana. Peel, banana. Eat bananas. Eat bananas. Go, bananas.
Bodhi's over there like, what? time to get to critical thinking. There's a whole bunch of stuff on critical thinking. There is a self-assessment there, and so feel free to take the self-assessment, and it's pretty self-explanatory after you're done, saying that if you answered most of the time or often, you may want to work on developing some of those characteristics. Yeah, so there's a lot of good stuff I have here on critical thinking, and I'll just go over really quickly 8 qualities of a critical thinker. Curiosity, creativity, rationality, self-awareness, which also is emotional intelligence, right?
Yeah.
Humility, open-mindedness, discipline, and objectivity. And then I've included something that I think is pretty cool from John Maxwell at the end, how to cultivate creativity in times of crisis. And I really like this. There's something else above it, but I will. Oh well, actually, it's pretty. I'll just share the don't. Okay, other qualities of creative thinking. I want to skip over because I'll just go straight to number 6. There, don't fear failure.
Yeah.
I see so many people that fear failure and they miss opportunities because they're so afraid of failure and they stay comfortable and they miss opportunities. So the final part of the handout has how to cultivate creativity in times of crisis. So one is spend time with creative people. How many of you have ever been to Painting with a Twist or anything like that? How many of you have ever felt like, and I know we did this in the Leadership Academy, we had a session where we actually explored creativity and that was fun. That was fun. But Painting with a Twist and places like that just gets your creative juices going again, and it's fun. Look for the obvious. Sometimes we're looking so much for, we're digging deep in the trenches and we forget the obvious. Be unreasonable. Okay?
Wow.
Practice mental agility. You got to keep exercising your brain. Dare to be different. A lot of times people get in this habit of groupthink where just because everybody else is thinking that way, they think they have to kind of go along. And then see problems as opportunities. And
Something just popped up here. It says, you weren't rejected, you were divinely redirected.
Oh, I like that. That's really good. Okay, so you guys have to post these good sayings onto the Facebook group. But you know, when we're doing scuba, Tina can relate to this. We had a girl in the class that she went through, and there was a swim test that involved hitting the wall and then turning and swimming back. And there was a girl who got inside of her head, and she just saw that wall as an obstacle instead of an opportunity. And I kept telling her, you got to look at it as an opportunity. You know, it's an opportunity. You turn, you push off, and you're there. You know, don't look at it as a wall. Every time you look at it as a wall, you're just telling yourself, I'm going to quit now. There's a wall in front of me. When all you need to do is change your mindset to this is an opportunity for me to just push off and I'm done. I've got this. She finally did get it and switched her mindset, and it was powerful. She had been through some traumatic stuff, and I find that with a lot of people that when they have gone through some trauma of some sort, they tend to forget to look at obstacles as opportunities. So,
What do you mean by be unreasonable?
What do you think I mean by be unreasonable?
I think I got that.
What do you think I mean?
Is that like saying no or something? Or?
Not saying limits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Like last year, one of my clients, and you can relate to this for like an event thing. For 12 years, they had always done the same thing with their conference, and it wasn't growing, and they were seeing the same number of attendees, meetings were getting bored, and surveys were getting lower and lower results, and they wanted to do something different, but they did not want to change the sponsorship plan. They did not want to change the funding. So I said, whatever. I was like, at the end of the day, I'm still gonna be here. So I'm just gonna throw some crazy things at the wall and see if you pick up any of them. If you pick up one of my 10 ideas, then we're moving forward. So I'm like, hey, you guys don't ever pay for your speakers because you can't afford a speaker. Why don't you offer to pay for a speaker and actually bring in new talent? And they were like, well, we don't have money for that. And I'm like, well, do you want a speaker? Yeah, we do. I said, then go find the money for it. If you want it, we'll find the money for it. And we did. We found a sponsor. We got the money. We brought in this amazing guy, and he brought in a handful of new attendees just for that. And this was takeaway. It was a great moment. And we thought about these different things, and to them, some of the ideas were so funny, and I'm going to them, and if you knew this type of client, they're so uptight and so, you know, just very, what happened? They don't have fun, they don't relax, and very prudish, and it's you know, and I'm just like, guys, we're gonna break at 2 o'clock and go to the lobby and have an ice cream social, and we're gonna have root beer floats. They're like, seriously?
That's great.
Seriously? And I'm like, you said your conference was boring, right? So, and they're
Yeah.
they're like, that's not what we do. And I'm like, no, that's not what you've done.
Right.
You know,
That's
I
a
was
great.
like, I'm throwing
I love it.
20 different unreasonable to you.
Yeah.
They're unreasonable. You know, to me, I don't have limits. But you know, you're saying, and I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, well, here's 20 to you unreasonable ideas, and you picked up about 4 or 5 of them.
That's awesome.
And to you, it's mine.
So unreasonable can simply
I
be out
love
of the
your
norm.
example.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So here's when you guys know I love my little beach ball that I bring for introductions. So I brought it to FDLE, and they were like, "Ooh, that's not going to go over well with these law enforcement guys." I'm like, "Well, I'm going to do it anyway." So I did, and I thought it went pretty well. It was a full day of training, and at the end, you know, people really, the whole thing, it was engaging and it was good, and it was on writing actually. It was on writing, and so at the end, you know, everything I thought went pretty well. I just last week went to my friend and coaching client. She was she just left her position as the Inspector General for the state of Florida, and I went to her going away thing, and somebody approached me and he said, "I was in your class at FDLE, and I just want to tell you, that was so good, and I loved the ball." And I was like, "Really?" Because they told me nobody was going to like the ball. He's like, "I thought it was cool, and I think everybody liked it." I'm like, "Well, how about that?" You know, because they said that it's not going to go over well with this thing. It's like a root beer float with this
I
crowd.
love that.
You know, be unreasonable. So do things that are unexpected, and sometimes the unexpected brings about all kinds of, you know, new ideas and fresh thoughts and vibrancy too.
I told a client one time for their conference at the reception to have mashed potatoes in champagne glasses, a mashed potato bar.
Yeah.
And we put mashed potatoes in champagne glasses, and then they could put whatever toppings they want on it. And when I was doing this to tell the committee this, the planning committee, they're laughing at me and saying, "Oh, that's so silly. Nobody's going to want to eat that." It was the most popular.
And now everybody's doing it. Now everybody's doing it.
I actually
You probably started.
last year that did
You
that.
probably started the trend.
Yes.
So let's say goodbye to our leaders who are not able to be with us.
Bye.
We missed you. We're gonna go ahead and say farewell, and we will see you soon. And there's your website portal. We're hanging up now.
It's for Brandy.